Refresh? I'm back now, I think. Hello? Did I cut out before the disgusting sweat thing happened? I kind of hope so. If anything, the universe saved me from a disgusting thing I showed on the internet. Did it cut out before the sweat thing happened? You think so? Yes. Saved. Basically, I wiped sweat and it shot everywhere. It was disgusting because I'm kind of warm right now. Anyway, so I was holding the X-Men book. I was saying this doesn't have the Chris Claremont X-Men. It's the original run from Lee and Ditko. Very cool. And then the final one is in perfect color. This matte blue. Ooh. Fantastic Four, the first family of Marvel. So that's nice. These are just such great, thick, like, editions of these comics. I love stuff like this. Paperbacks are fun. I have a lot of trade paperbacks. But for, you guys know how I feel about, like, archival. I like having physical stuff. Like, if there was a nuclear war, but somehow I was spared, and there's remnants of civilization all over, I need to be the keeper of the tomes! I'm the keeper of the lore. It's just satisfying to me. It honestly is. It's my trains. You know how some people are really into trains? I'm really into having physical copies of media and stories that are important to me. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Don't know why. Actually, I do know why. But it's personal. I've talked about it before anyway. Good thing I don't wear glasses. You'll also need those in the event of an apocalypse. I'm not going to get Burgess Meredith. Rod Serling won't get me. Not again. Rod's dead anyway. Last time Rod Serling narrated my life, I grew boobs. So actually a positive, I guess. Anyway. Have you guys noticed I like the Twilight Zone and Night Gallery? Might be a personality trait or something. 82% to level 1 with 45 seconds left on the hype train. Don't let it die. Oh, the hype is still going through the internet hiccup, isn't it? I see it. I don't know if you guys see it, I guess. Black's Law Dictionary request. Wind Chanter. What would you like me to look up? Let me move my Goosebumps. I gotta clear out some bookshelf space. Holy shit. I'll set those on the ground for now. Gnome Pickle says, long live hype train, so demands Daddy Gnome. Thank you. And BD Kappa with 41 months. You saved the hype train. It worked. Over level 1. Beautiful. You want me to look up Judge? Easy enough. M. Scheffler with 100 bits says, hi. Hello. How's it going? Bumble Homestead with 41 months says, still no MRI results, at least according to whoever is answering the phones at the imaging center. No immediate response means it wasn't deemed critical at a cursory glance. Thanks for the distraction. Well, that's good. That's good that it wasn't deemed critical. Excuse me. Bittergrin, thanks for gifting us some. 54% to level 2. I gotta take an anti-nausea thing. I'm sorry. Since I've had COVID, I've had weird, like, spells of nausea that'll just come up randomly. Sucks. Sucks a lot. So I have these nausea pills. Gonna take it. Okay. Hydrate. Will do. I should start a comic appreciation stream, less chance of copyright dings. Maybe, just thoughts. Maybe. I'm not as knowledgeable about comics as I am movies, so I think it'd be less entertaining. I can talk about movies and TV shows and Blu-rays and home media for hours and hours, because I know a lot about it, you know? Comics I enjoy and read and know a little bit about, more than the average person on the street, but I don't know if I know enough to carry a stream. It would just be me being like, I like this art. This art good, this art bad. This funny, this good. Like, I wouldn't have anything substantive to say. It would be boring, I think. Although I could shit on Greg Land for 3 hours. That might be fun. Let's look up Judge. I'm a judge. You're fucked. Oh, we had it. Judgment. Judge, a public official appointed or elected to hear and decide legal matters in court. Succinct. Might enjoy Chew. It's about people with food-based powers. Interesting. Nausea meds sometimes work better sublingually. I believe it, but I'm on stream, so I can't really do that. Talking while taking sublingual pills is hard. I'm gonna grab some tissues because my nose is running a little, and then we will start Chud stuff. 54% to level 2 with 2 minutes on the train. Okay, let's get to it. Nothing to do it, but to do it. We'll start with some... This one's just weird. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this one. Argument at a golf course. Apparently this guy picked up the other people's ball. I don't know if this is a fake TikTok or if it's just weird. Hard to tell these days. It's kind of a po.
We got a Karen on the...
Thoughts on those shitty Eco Blu-ray cases? I always replace them, so it doesn't matter. It just uses extra plastic for me, because I literally will buy, like, a pack of bulk 20 good Blu-ray cases and replace the Eco ones. So all it's doing is putting useless plastic into the world for me. The Eco Blu-ray cases are the worst. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me see. Do I have any... Let me think. Do I have anything cheap over here that has one? This one might. Butterfly Effect 2? Oh, yeah. This one's got it. They didn't give a shit about Butterfly Effect 2. Hold on, I have to take off the used sticker from the Butterfly Effect 2, because I don't know if you know this. I haven't had a reason to watch Butterfly Effect 2. At least not since I first saw it. It's actually not too bad. It's watchable. It's fine. It's better than Butterfly Effect 3. 30 seconds left in the hype. How dare you let it die while I talk about Butterfly Effect 2. There are 3. There are 3 Butterfly Effect movies. At minimum. That's the last I checked. They were direct-to-DVD shit. One of them involves incest quite heavily. Like, literally, the twist ending... I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for spoiling Butterfly Effect 2 or 3. I'm actually not sure which one is the incest one. Whichever one is the incest one, the twist, which I am comfortable sharing with you, the twist in one of the Butterfly Effect sequels is that the sister has actually been using time travel this whole time. The brother's been trying to time travel to save their parents, because there was a house fire when they were kids, and only the kids survived. So his, like, overall plot is trying to save everyone. His sister, both his parents, pets, everything. But you know, you've seen the first Butterfly Effect, so you know there's unintended consequences. In the end, it turns out that the sister, I think, already had been using time travel to try and fuck the brother, because she's obsessed with the brother, because he saved her, or something, and she doesn't want the parents there, because she wants to fuck the brother. I don't know. Anyway, the point I was gonna make was, there's these shitty Eco Blu-ray cases and DVD cases. You can tell because they'll have, like, a cutout right here. Ostensibly, the purpose is, well, it's thinner plastic and there's less of it, so it's good for the environment, which, you know, okay. In theory, I can get behind that. In practice, it's a way for companies to cheap out and buy really terrible cases that, because there's holes right here, they can get damaged easily. They suck ass. Anyway. That's my type 5 on Butterfly Effect 2. I'm gonna be a stand-up comedian, and every time I go on for my Type 5, I'm just gonna pick some random movie from my collection and bring it up and talk about it for 5 minutes. That's gonna be my gimmick. That's gonna be my get her done. Anyway, to the Chud Watch.
On the golf course right now.
You'll leave after I don't give you a goddamn thing.
I'm gonna take your clubs.
Take it.
This isn't even where you're fucking
Then leave.
I'm not getting a fight at a golf course.
Then leave. I'm gonna stand here and you can complain. Goodbye.
Why would you just take someone's golf ball to be a dick? Like, how many petty, like, sociopaths are out there? It's so weird. Probably higher per capita sociopaths on golf courses. That's untested. But I'm gonna guess, based on the correlation between wealth and golf, I'm gonna say per capita, probably more psychopaths on the golf course. He looks drunk? He may be. He's golfing. In America, it's basically a joke. I should say amongst older white dudes, primarily. That like, oh, I'm going golfing with my friends, with the guys. But really, they just drive around drunk on golf carts. And don't really give that much of a shit about the golf. And other boomer jokes about how they hate the person they chose to spend the rest of their life with. You get it. You've seen movies. You've seen Caddyshack.
No, you're the one that approached me and I asked you to no longer speak.
You took her ball!
Please don't speak to me.
We're coming over here.
You took her ball!
I get most of my view of the world from slobs versus snobs comedies from the 80s. I learned a lot of bad things from Revenge of the Nerds.
Bro, you took her ball.
I'm not gonna fight you over a fight.
If you need money for...
You don't need to see Caddyshack. It doesn't hold up. Sorry if you're a little older and you like Caddyshack a lot, that's fine. Comedy ages the worst of everything. I understand when it came out, Caddyshack was probably the funniest thing, but it's been like 40 years. It just doesn't hold up. Like Stripes. Stripes doesn't hold up. Hydrate.
For her golf balls.
Going to, Walter. It's up.
That said, things that I found very funny when I was younger also aren't funny anymore.
Plant you, bitch boy. Now get
And the things I find funny now probably won't be funny in 20 years. Weird how that works.
the fuck off the cart.
Walter?
Walter.
Oh, here
Oh,
we go.
here it comes.
Yeah!
Oh.
That's what you been to heaven, bitch, and you wanna test God, you fucking come get it. Shit.
He's been to heaven. Don't fuck with him. This is the body of someone who's been to heaven. Did you hear that?
Get the fuck off the cart.
Walter?
Walter.
Oh, here we go.
You see that?
Oh.
That's what you been to heaven, bitch, and you wanna test God, you fucking come get it. Shit.
That's a dude that's been to heaven. You want to test that?
Stack.
Okay, he's mentally ill.
Oh.
Let's move
You
along.
think I'm mentally ill?
I know you're
Been to heaven. Leave me alone.
Should have been wearing purple shorts. Would have completed the ensemble. Oh, goddamn.
It's part of yeah, super
Elon is the worst.
super tough problem, and it's part of really I'd say maybe the single most important reason that we're moving to having a small monthly payment.
That is so funny. He thinks people are going to pay $1 to pay for Twitter. The second that goes in, I'm not giving this man a single dollar. So, like, if you follow me on Twitter, now would be a great time to join the Discord, because if there's $1 a month or 25 cents a month or a penny a month charge for this shit, I'm not going to be posting on Twitter. So, probably join the Discord, or follow me on YouTube. I'm also on Blue Sky, under Hanover Loaded.
For use of the X system.
Sorry, I'm feeling very nauseous. I really don't want to go puke. Because then I'm going to have to go puke and come back and work. And that's not fun. For anyone involved.
It's
Oh, yeah, I can turn up the videos. I apologize. I can also turn myself down, relatively speaking. That way I'm closer to that volume, and you can turn up the volume overall. Is that better? Maybe? Let's see.
the only way I can think of to combat vast armies of bots, because
The only way you can think of curbing bot use is by charging people money? Are you stupid?
a bot costs a fraction of a penny, call it a tenth of a penny. But if somebody even has to pay, a few dollars or something, some minor amount.
How about that? Is that a little better?
The effective cost of bots is very high, and then you also have to get a new payment method every time you have a new bot. So that actually.
How about now? Is this the correct volume where we're... Someone tell me. Higher? Lower?
The constraint of how many different, credit cards you can find, even on the dark web or whatever. And then so
like half of his followers are bots.
Prioritizing posts that are written by basically ex-premium subscribers. And we're actually going to come out with a lower tier pricing. So it's, we want it to be just a small amount of money.
How has this man convinced anyone to give him money? He is so not charismatic. It's so bad.
This is the...
And I know that he says he is on the spectrum. That's fine. My therapist thinks I am too. I don't think that has anything to do with how big of a dick he is. It's irrelevant. So many people are on the spectrum and not complete monsters. Don't try and use that as a shield.
And it's a longer discussion, but in my view, this is actually the only defense against vast armies of bots. Because as the AI gets very...
Man, it's almost like this is a problem that every other website has already dealt with and doesn't feel the need to charge its users. You fucking moron. And I think this is just a cover. He just needs the money. Twitter's fucked if he doesn't find some way to make money off of his checkmark people. Because advertisers aren't coming back. He ruined that model by turning the website into a shit show. So now the only thing he can think of to do is to turn, instead of a broad-based model of advertisement to make money for Twitter, it's going to go to a whale-based model where you have a much smaller user base of right-wing shitbag, finbro, weirdo checkmarks who are going to pay this man money instead of it being a website that everyone uses, or a lot of people use at least. What a fucking... just the worst. I hate this man. Sky Comment says, hell no, fuck you, Muskrat. It's not my fault you spent too much money on a website that doesn't make money. Go to hell. Run Trip Falls says, we already pay for Twitter and emotional damage of using it. Spooky months number. True. And Gnome Pickle says, Elon fires anyone who challenges him. When the dude he paid to make apartments in the Twitter building flat out told him, look, this'll kill people, he was told, thanks for the feedback, but do it or find a new job. This is why no one should be as rich as Elon Musk. It's not... So many people frame, people who are against billionaires existing as some sort of, jealousy issue. Oh, you're just jealous, you're not a billionaire. No. No one should have that power. No one should have that much power. Society is about compromise. Society is about give and take. It's about reckoning with the fact that society is made up of numerous individuals and groups with their own interests and beliefs. And then navigating that and negotiating that in a way that we can all live in a way that makes us, as a whole, happy, more or less. It's a compromise. Society always is. So, it's not perfect, but it's what we're doing. When you have people as rich as Elon Musk, or Bill Gates, or Jeff Bezos, the power dynamic is too skewed. There's no compromise for someone like Elon Musk. There's no compromise for someone like Jeff Bezos, because they wield so much inordinate power through their wealth and influence through their companies and through the politicians that they pay off, that there's no longer a reasonable negotiation happening between members of society. It's everyone being strong-armed by people like this, whether they realize it or not. Elon Musk is just a very loud, asshole-ish one. The rest are smart enough normally to have media training or to shut the fuck up. He's emblematic of a larger issue. Forrest Espion with 15 months says, 15 months, yeah. Hannah, here's some stuff from Tinfoil. Also put it in the Discord. This is an interesting alien channel. Oh, Elizabeth. I've covered Elizabeth before. I don't cover her often because she's long-winded. She's definitely full of shit, obviously. She claims that she's an emissary from the Galactic Federation. She thinks she talks to aliens all the time. But she's just kind of crunchy granola lady, and I don't know if she's grifting or not. I will save this. Cool. Again, sorry for my voice. I feel like it's like deep and gravelly relative to normal. I'm doing my best.
Very good. It's actually able to pass these sort of capture tests better than humans. In fact, one of the ways you might say, like, wait a second, this passing the test too fast. That must be a robot. You know, it must be AI, because a human would be much slower.
But you're saying that all these things are happening at such a rapid.
What kind of moron would pay for Nazis to harass them all day? Are you on Threads, Hannah? I'm Sky Comet 9 if anyone's interested. I'm on Blue Sky. I haven't really done the Threads thing yet.
Rapid exponential.
I didn't already have an Instagram. It would have been easier if I had an Instagram or something, but I don't. So I have a private Instagram, but it's like personal, not like a, you know, it's not called Hannah Reloaded. It's not for you guys, it's for me. So I'd have to do like a public Instagram and then make a Threads from the Instagram. It's all good because you're here for the thick, curvy brain. Thank you.
Rate that
You think my brain's thick and curvy?
our discussion
You have not seen my butt. God damn.
means we're talking.
It's pretty good. I'm just saying. In terms of just like, in terms of cynical, like just like vapid body thing I like about me, I got a killer ass, chat. It's good.
Talking about. We're really so far behind the curve.
Musk is an energy vacuum. True. He got very lucky. He got very, very lucky.
So, revelations are coming to the surface of the cesspit, courtesy of Tucker Carlson.
Oh, good. We're citing Tucker Carlson. Lovely. Did you guys see the expose on Rumble that showed that Rumble is cheesing their views? That's funny.
Telling us in one fell swoop that Barack Obama likes having sex with men, and he has it on very...
This is so weird. This is the weirdest recent conspiracy theory the right is pushing. If Barack Obama was bisexual, gay, pan, whatever, if at any point he had or was interested in having sex with men or found men attractive, okay, do you think it's illegal to be the president and like dick? Is that why you were against Hillary Clinton? Like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Very good authority, does Tucker.
Like, do they genuinely think that no president in the history of the United States has tasted a dick? I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. It's just not true.
Okay. That Donald Trump's Nick...
I know it's not a new conspiracy. This is like some 2010 shit they're bringing back up for no reason. That's why I'm confused. Like, Tucker Carlson can do whatever bullshit libelous thing he wants now. He's not on Fox News. But he's doing this? He's going back to, like, 2010 era Facebook conspiracy memes about Obama? What is he doing?
Next step, probably going to be an assassination. And that within 12 months, he's absolutely certain that Russia and America will enter into a hot war.
If they did, that would be really bad for Russia, considering how badly they've already done against just Ukraine. Did I want a specific pizza from Meyer? Anything but the Meyer brand. The Meyer brand is kind of dry. The Freschetta's pretty good. DiGiorno's fine. The Red Barons are alright. Red Baron Brick Oven 4 cheese is pretty good.
Now, many people have been speculating about those very things for quite some time. And maybe they will all come to pass within the next 12 months. One thing's for sure, that everything that's happening at the...
Oh, the point I was making. The idea that, like, I get it. Russia has nuclear weapons, so that's, like, an issue in and of itself. But if you're talking about a traditional ground war, Russia would be fucked. They can't even beat Ukraine so far. They thought it was going to take, like, a week, and it's been years. Like, they are not in any shape to fight the United States.
The minute, everywhere, in every country, in every aspect of our society, is to bring about destruction. It's to destroy everything. To destroy society, to destroy stability, to destroy unity, to destroy our children's minds, to destroy our jobs. Everything is to bring about destruction.
Have you considered that you just have a different worldview than people on the left and you don't like that society reflects values that you don't agree with? Have you considered you're wrong on a lot of these things and wrapped up in conspiracy? Because that's something that you might want to think about before making a fool of yourself on the internet. And I know a thing or two about making a fool of myself on the internet.
Because without everything being destroyed, then nothing can be rebuilt. According to the Great Reset, the so-called Great Reset, where everything will be built back better. You have to clear everything off the table before you build it back better, the way they want it to be done. So, America going into a hot war with Russia? Probably.
Yeah, I'm streaming early today. I wanted to... It's a nice day. I kind of wanted to get it out of the way. Maybe play some games or watch some movies later or something. I'm starting to feel better from the COVID, so...
Why? For no other reason, man. Well, there's several reasons, but one of the main reasons is, imagine the power that they will have to censor and lock people down and control and confiscate if they go into an actual hot war with Russia.
How would that make any sense?
If Trump actually gets assassinated, can you imagine the up...
Who's going to assassinate a Mayor McCheese? I think Trump's... If Trump passes away, I do not think it will be an assassination. I think it would be that he's quite old and unhealthy. Hats off. PK, what do you want me to wear for the hats off?
Uproar in America with all those gun-toting Second Amendment love.
I wish them luck with their terrorism. Not really, though. They will get caught.
Loving, Trump-loving, MAGA
Kitty ears? Okay.
loving Trump supporters going ballistic.
I'm not happy about that at all. I don't find the cat ears cute.
Literally, no pun intended. And of course, the revelations about Barack Obama, and man, don't be surprised to see Justin Trudeau coming out, and Emmanuel Macron, and many, many others. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the great reveal. So just keep your head together, focus on yourself, the things that you can control, and remember, above all, stay sane.
Kind of might want to double check if you're following your advice on that last bit. So this person's in a Care Bear outfit with a clover, which is related to 4chan, fuck Biden flag, and someone in a clown outfit, which is a dog whistle. Lovely.
What did you just say, Cooper? I would rather pay my healthcare insurance right now than have it for free, because I don't want freeloaders going off my health insurance. How much?
You fucking idiot. What do you think insurance is, you stupid bitch? It's a pool of people that pay into it so when anything happens, you get covered. That's all insurance! This would just be tax funded, you stupid cunt.
I'm gonna shit on you real hard. My ambulance ride to the hospital was $3,400.
Because of your private health insurance, you moron! People in other countries don't get charged like that. You're being price gouged.
In the fucking middle of the night, 3 a.m. on a Sunday, and I understood that I fucked up. That's my fault, okay? And how much do you... I also have... This is a Republican. I understand. I'm a Republican. Put this on Facebook. I don't care. I deleted my Facebook. And I will pay it again. I'll put it on TikTok. I will pay it again. You will pay it again.
Health insurance is already mostly tax funded. It's subsidized by about 2/3 by federal grants. What are we even doing then? If that's true, what are we doing? What is life? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. The cat toy did get here, Harold Elberman. Got it today. Thank you. Baja, when you get home, there is a cat toy in the living room area with the note from Harold Elberman. Thank you very much. Our kitties appreciate it.
AI is a double-edged sword. Did you tell them that AI is a double-edged sword?
Yes.
And what did you mean by that? Can you explain that?
Well, what is the metaphor?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, if you have a sword with two sides,
when you're
one side can get you, even though you're trying to get.
Yes, Elon, we understand what idioms are. He's trying to understand an idiot, not an idiom.
Something with the other side.
When you're telling the senators that, though,
That's how it works.
What do you want them to take away
I
from
think
that?
it's more important to make sure your hilt is also, you have a hilt, not a sharp thing.
Oh my god, he's such a dumb bitch. He's so stupid. Comparing him to a Redditor makes so much goddamn sense, too. He acts like someone who is a chronic Redditor, or like 4chan. He thinks he's so funny and edgy and like, oh, everything's cloaked in irony, so I'm so cool. He's the epitome of a South Park person. He's the epitome of a person whose political views were forged and cemented by South Park. It's fucking embarrassing.
Robert Kennedy needs to leave the communist democracy.
Ooh, he's quiet.
Hey guys, John Robinson here, and I don't want to pass on things that might be misinformation, but, you know, do your own research, because when you hear something repeated often enough...
Chudwatch is just tinfoil day now.
You know the old saying, where there's smoke, there's...
It's just all fucking conspiracies.
Fire. It's come to my attention that many of our top senators and public officials have dual citizenship with China.
What?
Now, I can
understand
if you live in a country that has war, famine, political unrest, persecution of some kind, or you just want to come to a country where there's more...
Like, even if they do, I don't have an issue with that. People have dual citizenship sometimes. It's not common, but people do. Can we not be fucking weird?
Opportunity for your children. Hey, come on down.
Oh yeah, McConnell's wife is definitely from China.
Baby, we want those type of immigrants because
they are fucking obsessed with China. It is weird.
Those, like many of my relatives, have fought in the war so that...
Like, I get it. I don't like totalitarian regimes either, but it doesn't feel like that's the reason they don't like China. It feels like they don't like China for weird nationalistic reasons instead of, like, you know, slave labor, concentration camps, crackdown on dissidents. It just feels gross the way that they talk about it.
They could hand down this country to our generation. You see, if you leave, you're leaving, we're staying. Very simple. We own it. Now, on the other hand, hearing a rumor that President Biden is in possession of a surrender agreement to hand us over to the Chinese...
Wait, who told you that? What are you talking about?
Once again, is extremely disturbing, but it's not something we can't deal with, because as long as President Biden understands that he's leaving and those of us that own this country...
China doesn't recognize dual citizenship. This is completely false. Well, there you go.
...we're staying, and that prick will not be flying there on Air Force One with his whole family and $20 million. No, when he gets there, he can let them make him live like he's made so many of us live. And for now on, just because so many of us were dumbed down by the pubic school system, and they're missing...
Got him. He called it the pubic school system. How are they going to get back from that?
Doing with all taxpayers always have a right to bitch about what these idiots in office are doing with...
Oh my god, a Gadsden flag person. I think that's the saddest flag, is the Gadsden flag in 2023.
Our hard-working money. The people never authorized Obama to send billions to other countries.
Congress did.
We never authorized Biden to send $170 billion to Ukraine so far, and that's not...
Congress did.
Including other countries.
Like, they literally did. We're a representative democracy. Like, how do you think this works?
He still has a...
You personally can disagree. There are things the government does that everyone disagrees with. But that's how it works. It's a collection of representatives of people of different backgrounds and beliefs, ideally, that are supposed to vote on the will of their constituents, ideally.
A lot of time left to send more money that we don't even have. We were $12 trillion in debt when Obama left
Oh my god, the national debt thing.
Office. We have every right.
The vast majority of national debt is owned domestically in the form of government bonds.
Because we have a laundry list of things that needs to be fixed right here in America. That
you don't want to put money into because you're a libertarian, so why the fuck do you care?
People are homeless, vets are homeless. We have people struggling in trying to decide between food and putting gas in their tank to get to work. Our roads are in shambles because they've literally neglected the roads nationwide.
Oh man, it's a good thing that the Biden administration and Congress passed a large infrastructure bill, the biggest in decades then. Crazy.
First off, let's just make it real clear, and we can talk about it later in the week. Retirement is not a biblical concept.
No, it is not.
In the Bible, you'd drop dead, and then your child would pick up your hoe and continue working the fields. That's what America should do.
That is a pagan concept that comes...
A pagan concept?
...from the Babylonian system. If you want to live in Egypt, you want to live in Babylon.
Are you nuts? The idea that historically people didn't take care of their older relatives is nuts. That is so ahistorical. Historically, in most societies, maybe even, when people got too old to work, if they were lucky enough to make it that old, in a pre-modern medicine world, their families would take care of them. We didn't have nuclear family structures the way that we had in America, you know, the stereotypical 1950s view of the nuclear family. Families, historically, have often been generational. Older people, like, living with their kids. I just don't... The idea that people who are old shouldn't have to work being new is so backward and such propaganda, I want to vomit. Like, is this guy... I don't even think... Is he dumb or is he being manipulated? He's either manipulated or doing the manipulating. I can't tell. Is he this deluded? Is he this out there that he just wants to die working? Or, like, is it just at the behest of some rich asshole that he's sharing this messaging to try and convince other right-wing weirdos to vote against their own best interests?
Great, retire. God's people, that is not a model, so we can talk about that. But one of the great indications that something is not part of what God wants is the fruit that accompanies it. And one of the things I've always believed is Deuteronomy 6:24. He says, everything I tell you is for your benefit, that you can enjoy a long life, that you can prosper. And so...
Man, enjoying a long life doesn't sound like working until I drop dead. This guy comments, says, a lot of families are going back to generational because of the cost of housing. Yep. Doesn't surprise me. It's probably going to be an ongoing trend.
If we see something in the way of statistics or science that...
One of the reasons I'm really glad that I'm a confident enough person to have cut my shitty parents out of my life, because there's no version of the future where they would ever live with me. Oh my god. My mom wanted that so bad too when I was growing up. She'd constantly just like talk about how she wanted to live with me and have like a house on my property. Like, she was a fucking psycho. She still is. But like, that lady's got issues. Serious fucking issues. Sky Comet says, a lot of families are going back to generational because... Oh, sorry, it just popped up on this screen. This screen's a little delayed.
Shows that we don't have a long life, that will diminish our life, then we know that's not part of what God wanted us to do.
And there's a reason behind it.
And there's a reason behind it. And
Let me put it this way. Don't have a kid unless you want to create a human being that is fully separate from you. Because it feels like my mom had a kid to have someone she felt would love her. Which is depressing and fucked up and sad. And not okay to do to a human being. Don't have a human being to exist for you, to be your emotional support. Don't have a human being to be your friend because you're too much of an alcoholic to go actually have friends outside the house. It's fucked up. It's very specific.
Statistics indicate that whatever that is not God's plan for you, because what He plans for you is long life, prosperity, etc. So when you see something that diminishes your life...
Her husband didn't love her? No, he's awful too. They're both codependent, awful alcoholics.
Here's the deal. insurance actuaries, as of just a few months ago, talking to a minister you and I really know well, and he had just checked with the insurance actuaries again. I checked on it about 10 years ago, and it was this way. It's still this way now, 10 years later. The average length of time that a person lives after they retire is 2.4 years. Because what they do is...
Man, it's almost like we should let people retire earlier.
I am so looking forward to quitting and doing nothing. I am so looking forward to finally have...
Yeah, they die because they're old. They die because in the United States, a lot of people don't get the chance to retire, so the average comes down, you idiot.
But your body says, oh, you want to do nothing? Great.
It was rough to grow up with. I still deal with a lot of stuff now. And you know what scares me? I've never brought this up, but I know she watches this show. My mom, I know she does. I don't want her to, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's the internet. This is a public show. The only thing I can hope is that, you know what a fear I have is? I'll just share this. I'm being open today. Why not? One of my biggest anxieties is that one of you, the people that I have come to know through this stream, parasocially, of course, the idea, and that she's manipulative, so this is absolutely something she would do. I am so afraid that one of you is secretly her and interacts with me through a fake screen name to try and foster some sort of, like, delusional parasocial relationship with me under the guise of a different identity. Like, if you're doing that, please fuck off. I don't want a relationship with you ever in my life. Go away. Anyway, so that's an anxiety I'm sharing with you.
Great, let's just shut down.
Let's just quit.
Let's just quit, yeah. And so God did not design us for retirement. He did not design us to quit being productive. And when you start doing things that go contrary to what He designed us for, it always gets bad results. And so the statistics are there that God did not design us for retirement.
There's enough of us that she'd probably get buried. I would hope so. She's also not funny. So a lot of you are funny. So I know it's not the funny ones or the compassionate ones. Narcissism is a mindfuck. Yeah. For anyone who's not familiar with the term in psychology, emotional incest, look it up. No Pickles says, as someone who was disowned by his birth father because he couldn't handle the fact that I didn't worship him, I feel the fear in my bones. You're worthy of support. Yeah. People are fucking scary. Are you funny? Sometimes.
Drag queen principal. We have a drag queen principal of one of our schools.
I kind of doubt it. Do you mean... I can't tell at this point because they've conflated... They've conflated, like, drag queens with trans people, so I don't even know what he's trying to scaremonger about now. Like, does he mean that the principal is a drag queen actually in his off time? Or is this a trans woman who is the principal that they are conflating with drag queens? No Pickle says, I know it can't be me because I was very funny. Observe butts. Haha, hilarious.
Who has now hired another drag queen to work inside our schools. This is what Joe...
Why would it matter? I don't understand your concern. This messaging only works if you assume that people who do drag are pedophiles, and they're not. So what's your issue? This isn't coming up at school if they're a drag queen, most likely.
Joe Biden wants for
Or if it is, it's in a very, like, pantomime, family-friendly way.
Schools, folks. Well, I have demanded that that individual be fired. No drag queen should be running a school anywhere in this country, especially in Oklahoma.
Why? Like, what's your actual reason? Give a reason.
The Supreme Court has been wrong. There is no separation of church and state in the
Oh my God. Yes, there is. What?
Constitution or Declaration of Independence. It doesn't exist.
The government can't restrict religion or promote it through its acts. That is literally a fucking truism since the beginning. Like, I'm not saying we've always lived up to that. We don't, but holy shit, what are you talking about?
So we will bring God back to schools and prayer back in schools in Oklahoma.
She's a drag performer who became principal and goes to drag at work. Is she appropriate other than the weird outfit?
We will fight back against that radical.
Because I assume that person is trying to make a statement about, like, hey, don't be afraid of drag queens. They're not, like, predators. If they're doing that, would be my guess. See if there's anything else before we get on to the other, like, YouTube content. I think maybe that's it. So I'm sure you guys know the UAW, the United Auto Workers of America, are on strike, or at least they've discussed a strike. Did the strike officially begin? Actually, not positive. Michigan, where I live, has historically been a very strong union state because of the UAW, because Detroit, because of Flint, because of all the auto manufacturing that took place in the state, primarily in the past, but it still exists. Right? The strike is on? Good. Rage and Rob, who's also from Michigan, is upset about the UAW striking, even though, I'm just going to put this out there, Michigan wouldn't be what it is without being helped by unions. Like, the state just wouldn't be what it is without unions. Shitting on unions in Michigan is like shitting on, I don't even know, oranges in Florida, or meth in Florida. Like, you can't, like, you can, but you're gonna look like an asshole. It's so funny, too, that, cause, like, my uncle is a welder, a specialized welder. He has a specialty. I'm sure he's good at what he does. I don't disagree with that. But he benefits from being in a union. Rightfully so. Good for him. I'm glad. But I don't think he likes unions. If I remember correctly, he's like anti-union, even though the reason he has such good benefits and job security is because of the union. Fucking hate these people. It's weird, too. I've talked about my dad. My dad's also anti-union, even though literally his mother right now, whose husband, my grandfather, died some years ago, she's still living off the fucking pension from when he was working as an auto worker. Like, everything my father ever had in his life from childhood was built from a union household. And he just is the biggest piece of shit. He's such a selfish monster. He got all these benefits of being in a union household, of having security and stuff for his family. And then he's just like, fuck unions, though. What a fucking idiot. Anti-Pretzel says, Rage and Rob, being mad about things he doesn't understand must be a day that ends in Y. A day Hannah loves her wife. A day checks watch in the current decade. Here you go, mate. Not sure what that's supposed to be.
What's going on, everybody?
Woo! Coming in a little hot, Rob.
But you got the Rage and Rob here. So...
It's so funny, too. I'm sorry I'm talking about my dad again, but it's just, this has formed a lot of my understanding of, like, right-wingers who vote against their own best interests in the thought process is so interesting to me. My dad continually will talk about how much he hates his boss. I don't know if he still does this, but for a period of time, he literally carried around a letter that, like, either he was sent or he sent to a previous shitty boss who he felt, like, slighted by, and the boss is like a nepo piece of shit, you know? But he is unable to recognize the systemic issue and listens to Fox News and still thinks Republicans are great and we shouldn't have regulations and big business is awesome and unions are terrible. It's just interesting watching someone be against anything that would help them their entire life and have nothing to show for it. He has a family, he had one kid who hates him and openly talks on the internet about what an abusive psycho he is, while wearing fucking cat ears. He has a wife who fucking hates him, right? He's gonna be alone. Just don't know why you'd fuck up your life that bad. Not worth it.
Last fucking donut. I ordered 3 donuts. Ate 2, I forgot to eat the last.
What the fuck? Why is this like a dry donut? Like, I don't even think that's an apple cider donut. I think that is a plain donut. That's a crime.
That's one. I'm on my way to Port Huron. There's allegedly a rally going on.
Allegedly? Is there or isn't there? You should probably know before you drive there.
Anti-human trafficking rally. You know, supporting the
As opposed to all those pro-human trafficking rallies. It is so funny to me how Republican idiots have been brought in by this. They have so little to offer that they have to make up shit. Like, what's a thing we can rally against and act as though we're spearheading a cause against? Human trafficking? But not like real human trafficking, like fake QAnon human trafficking, in which most abductions are done by, like, rich people at the behest of Democrats and celebrities who are on the left in order to get adrenochrome or whatever other conspiracy bullshit they've made up at this point. Like, Republicans, I need you to understand this. No one other than pedophiles is in favor of human trafficking. It's not a hot take. It's not a hot take. If you go out with signs and shit that are like, fuck human trafficking, everyone's gonna be like, yeah? No shit? No one disagrees with this. You are literally talking about this because you have nothing else. You have no policy to run on other than fuck Democrats. And use the thing that you're using as a distraction with the whole Save the Children thing to also simultaneously demonize people you don't like by painting them as pedophiles. It's just so cynical and obvious what they're doing. I don't get it.
children, you know.
They hate Hollywood but can't stop putting actors into office and bashing political beliefs of movie shit. And it's so funny too, because like does anyone like Hollywood? No one. Like even you guys know how much I love movies. They're produced in a cesspit called Hollywood. Hollywood is a nightmare. It's another giant industry full of like nepo babies and rich assholes who take advantage of people and assault people. And yes, people use that power to assault children. It's disgusting. This is a problem with power everywhere. It's so weird that they are so selective about their outrage towards, like, oh, Hollywood, or imagined, like, satanic pizza places they think Democrats are hiding, like, tunnels in, instead of just generally backing up and being like, wow, maybe there are systemic issues with power in the hierarchies that we use to structure our world that are allowing shitty people to have power and take advantage of people who are vulnerable. Maybe we should do something about that so there isn't such an inequity between people's power, so that no one can get so powerful to hide things. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. No, we probably just need Jim Caviezel to make a movie, though, and then vote in Donald Trump, who definitely isn't a pedophile and has never raped a child. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating.
Stuff like that, you know. And
like, I know never mind. I'm not going to talk about that.
Anti-human trafficking, you know, raising awareness for human trafficking. I'm doing God's work, trying to raise awareness for human trafficking, helping some patriots out. I got to go to Port Huron in a little bit. Got to go to Port Huron. I don't go to Port Huron too much, but I got to do, you know, God has called me to go to Port Huron. Got to do the Lord's work. Raise awareness on human trafficking. It's an issue.
Has God called you to go to Port Huron? Let me see if I can find this rally somewhere on the internet. See who's going or anything, if they have any speakers or whatever. I know Kyle Rittenhouse was in the state a couple months ago. You said Port Huron, right? Port Huron child trafficking. Let's see. Rally? That's from 2019, though. Human Trafficking Awareness Conference. Ooh, that's an unfortunate acronym. Holy shit. If this is an actual organization that unironically does deal with trying to stop child trafficking, look at the acronym.
Oh.
Michigan Abolitionist Project. Or MAP for short. Thank you, honey.
I also got you a gift.
Ah! Would you put it on me?
Yeah.
My wife got me a cute choker for Halloween.
I might have to resize it. I don't know if it'll
Yeah.
be.
My wife got me a choker. You've never got me a choker before. Wait, no, you did. You have. I think, right? You got me necklaces before.
I don't think I have. I've let him borrow necklaces.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
It's
It's a really cute choker, guys. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna turn this on so you can look at it when it's.
I'm feeling very pressured.
I'm sorry. I'll chill. Is it sexy? It will be once I put it on.
You're cute.
allegedly going to pass a drug
Here, and I can put it on, and then you can move back on screen for the reveal.
trade. Somebody said I had gray hairs. I'm getting.
You do. So do I. It's fine.
Old.
What?
Gray hairs.
I'm 41 next month.
I've had gray hair since I was 17.
Yeah, I've had them since my 20s.
Month.
I guess I'm in my.
You're
I'm at
still in your 20s.
early 20s is what I meant. Since I was like 20. I'm gonna put. She's gonna put the choker on me, chat.
Have to turn around. I'm gonna make sure that I don't have it backwards, which I do. I gotta fix it. I'll be back.
Okay. She'll be right back. She's gonna adjust it.
Been doing YouTube since I was 26 years old.
I've been doing it since I was like 17. It's embarrassing.
I think I was 26. 2009. Yeah, 26 is when I started.
And I had a thicker beard than you.
YouTube. Anyway, so I was down in Detroit, or just outside of Detroit, Wayne County, doing some contract work.
How old's this guy? Mid to late 30s.
I was down there in Inkster, Wayne, Westland, that area, you know, Plymouth. Anyway.
Rob is like the chuddy brother I never had. We both look very Midwestern.
I took care of
We're both from Michigan.
a couple customers.
And I hate him.
I'm driving down Michigan Avenue, right in front of the Ford plant there in Wayne, and I see the picketers. And they got their signs up, UAW on strike.
HRT got rid of my body hair? It did?
And blah, 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 blah. And I did not hawk
my facial hair isn't the same. That I do electrolysis for. And have made tons of progress. Not quite done, but...
horn.
He just said a minute ago he's turning 41. Jesus Christ. He honestly looks younger than that, so I guess good for him. Radiology says, hello, a bit of Chudwatch content from the UK. This happened just down the road from me. And my partner was actually there but didn't see the event. The quote from the group at the bottom is real beyond parody stuff. SS uniform wearing group ordered to leave Sheringham 1940s festival. Are you fucking kidding me? Between the ages of 30 and 50. So it's not even like any of them were in the war. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Not that that would make it better. That would be even more confusing if someone who fought the Nazis put on a Nazi uniform as a gag. But, like, oh my god. There were some very, very upset people in the town. There's a very small Jewish community in the town, and basically it was inappropriate for them to be in town. Jesus Christ. Are they just genuine neo-Nazis trying to stir shit up? Because I know the entire world is having issues with, like, neo-Nazis. Far-right bullshit has just been on the crazy fucking rise. They were a historical group? Fuck off. Like, it's not even like they were wearing just, like, German military uniforms. They weren't Wehrmacht, or whatever. I always mispronounce that, Wehrmacht. They were SS. Come on. Come on. This isn't even just, like... Even if they did show up as just, like, German foot soldiers who weren't in the SS, I'd be like, ooh, that's tone-deaf, yikesy, no. SS uniforms? Those are literally, like, the Nazis' army. Like, that's not just random Germans. Those are people who are believers in the fucking party. God damn. Neo-Nazis are worse than actual Nazis because neo-Nazis are alive. Anyway. Gnome Pickle says, I had 2 great uncles in the Battle of the Bulge, and I'm very proud of their Nazi fighting history. I am happy to go get their gear and pick up where they left off. In Minecraft. In Roblox. Jokes.
Nothing against them. I support people's constitutional rights.
Seriously, though, don't dress like a Nazi.
It's not the working man or the working woman that I'm against. It's the UAW.
The UAW is working men and women. That's the whole point. It's organized labor. It's labor.
UAW.
You fucking loser. I've been throwing loser around so much lately. I'm sorry. I try. I so badly in my heart want to be like a relatively neutral voice. Like, obviously not neutral. I'm not neutral and I'm not delusional about that. But, like, I try not to be inflammatory. I hate that. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But I just get so frustrated with these people. They suck. They suck so much. Mute it.
Alright, come here.
Okay, she's gonna put the choker on me. After saying something saucy. Rageology says it's worth looking at their quotes for why they thought it was fine, and DM Trey says just found out my uncle is a Nazi apologist, so basically a Nazi. Yes, if you're a Nazi apologist, you're a Nazi. There's no version of softening Nazism that doesn't involve being a Nazi, to be clear. What? Oh, cool. Could you put this in the fridge downstairs?
Oh, I thought that you wanted it right now.
I'm gonna have it with dinner later. I had this. Thank you, love. Oh, it is so cute. Am I entering my slasher goth phase?
Yes.
Fuck yes. I want to scare people.
Your dad would be terrified.
I hope so.
I love it. We are here to terrify your father. It's funny, you're holding up all the hair except the hair that needs to be held up.
Can you hear us, chat? We're being cute! God damn it.
Are we being cute?
We're always cute.
It's true. Like, make sure that it's...
Is it cute?
Oh, it's so cute! Oh my god, I love it!
Oh my god, I picked a good shirt for this, too.
You very much did.
Fuck yes. Let's look at this. Y'all are gonna be jealous.
1 second, can you turn the mic off again?
Yeah. It's like slasher weapons. It's like, oh, I love it. I love it so much. Ah! I know I'm muted, guys. I was talking to my wife. My wife who has put a choker on me. Sorry, I'm in so many tangents today. God damn, this is so cute. This is really so cute. DM Trey says he tried saying to family members that the Holocaust was a lie, and I am unfortunately familiar enough with conspiracy theories to rebut everything he's saying. I'm glad that you knew enough. I'm glad that you knew enough. What a piece of shit. Genuinely. There's anyone who is a Holocaust denier or quote-unquote revisionist sucks ass.
Chat, have you met Lupine? This is our spoopy girl.
She is a cutie.
She is a cutie.
Just like her mom.
Can you get a nya? Nya.
She is simultaneously large, and I am also small. I am very small. I'm only 5 foot tall. I'm very tiny.
I'm 5'6".
Yeah. You're still very tiny.
Which is good. I'm so glad. I could have got... My dad's over 6 feet. I am glad I didn't get that. Not that there's anything wrong with, you know, women being tall. I'm just glad. Personally, I'd prefer to feel small. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Bye, chat.
Rachology says they thought it was fine because they were there to highlight the role of the Nazis had in, quote, fighting communism as the descendants of Poles who were murdered as a result of the Nazi USSR pact to divide Poland. There was some swearing and Minecraft thoughts at the end of what I was reading. Jesus Christ. That's disgusting. I don't know. You're 6'3", so I'm a wee lass to you. You could pick me up, probably. You'd probably pick me up. You ever been picked up, chat? It's pretty fun. Who's your friend says the choker rocks. Baja has excellent taste. Yes, she does. DM Trey says what's super sad is he's in town right now and got wasted last night and tried going to a gay bar to harass people. Today's the last day before his death that I will see him. That took me a second. That's a bad idea on his part. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fucked up anyway, but, like, legit, if he tried to go into a gay bar in 2023 and start shit, I think it would end badly for him. And I'm not saying assault and battery is the answer. I am saying it's likely, though. People aren't going to deal with that shit. Like, at a gay bar? Like, does he understand that Stonewall started at a fucking gay bar? There's historical precedent for people not putting up with shit there, especially after, like, the Pulse shooting. I think the queer community has very little patience for anyone coming into a space like a gay bar that's supposed to be a safe space for queer people, and you come in there with your shit. I don't think that would go well. And again, I'm not saying anything that would be good. I am just, in reality, probably not going to go well. Oh, honey. Anyway. Every gay bar should keep a basket of bricks behind the bar just in case. Unironically, if I owned a gay bar, which would probably be fun. Seems like an interesting job to have, especially if it was in a not huge city, like a mid-sized city. Or a college town might be fun. Anyway, either way, I think it would be funny to have like a piece of furniture. Not really, I'm not really gonna have people do this, at least that's what I'll tell the cops. But maybe on the wall or something there's a bunch of bricks, and it's like in case of Stonewall Part 2 or something, as part of the decor. I just think a shout out to Stonewall is a nice thing to have. Are there any bricks from Stonewall that still exist? Like, unironically, can you be like, I would like to buy a brick that was thrown at someone at Stonewall? Someone must have that, right? That's got to exist somewhere. Because that's some cool historical shit that I would want to own.
Is a mafia.
What's insane is he keeps getting on Punch and he still does it. That's so weird. Bizarre. Hydrate.
Democratic money laundering faggot.
Why the slur? Why the slur? I apologize for the slur.
Organization.
Interesting that homophobia and anti-labor sentiment go hand in hand. Wonder why that is. It's almost like the entire political party that he affiliates with exists in order to make poor people and working class people obsessed with people who are different than them, like queer people or racial minorities, instead of being aware that they're getting fucked by rich people. Wow. Did they teach you to hate queer people and that labor unions were bad for you? That's convenient that they're the ones who the labor unions would be negotiating with. Rich people. Idiot.
Okay. Oh, I said the magic F word. Oh, my video's gonna get flagged.
I hope so.
But anyway, they are a money laundering, crooked organization that steals from the working man.
It doesn't steal. If you don't want to be in a union, don't get a union job. Union dues are literally there in order to support the union. When you pay union dues, you get more than the dues back in compensation negotiated by the union. So if you, let's simplify the numbers. Let's say you were an unaffiliated worker that worked for an auto plant. And let's say you made, we're just going to simplify it with basic numbers, $100 per paycheck. That's very low, but, let's imagine, just for simplicity. Let's say your paycheck is $100 for whatever your pay period is, and you're not in a union. And someone says, hey, let's start a union. Or do you want to join the union that we've already started? It'll take, let's say, $15 off your paycheck. Okay? Idiot thinks, well, why would I do that? Why would I do that? I already only make 100. You want me to give you 15 of it? The thing is, unions then negotiate with the owners, so you no longer get a base pay of $100 per pay period. Maybe you get $200. And then you only have to give 15 still to the union. So you're better off with better benefits. And you don't have to be constantly afraid of being fired for stupid corporate bullshit. They can't just fire you at will, which is terrible. At will employment is a fucking nightmare. I need you to, people not in the United States. If you don't know, most states in the United States are at will employment. At least they used to be. I think they still are. You can get fired for no reason. There are other countries where, if you're going to get fired, they need to, tell you why. They need to have a reason. They need to be you didn't do a good job, and here's your performance reviews to show it. Or you're stealing, so we have proof, so you're fired. With cause. In the United States, in most places, in most jobs, in at-will states, right-to-work states, you can get fired for no reason. They can literally just be you're fired. And you can be like, what? Why? And they'll be like, you're fired. Right now. Go. They can just fire you. And they don't have to tell you the reason. This is one of the reasons, too, that it's annoying when, certainly it is illegal, let's say, to fire someone because they're queer. Or a race that you don't like, or a religion you don't like. In the United States, you don't have to give a reason. So let's say you're an employer and you're a right-wing piece of shit, and you find out one of your employees is gay, or bi, or trans. All you have to do is be in your head, I don't like that person, then fire them and don't give them a reason. Yeah, it's not good. Rachology says, fun fact about the Stonewall bar, it was racially segregated. Non-white people got the smaller dance hall in the back. That's disgusting, especially considering it was the 70s. It was the 70s, right? Early 70s? Or was it late 60s? Either way, that's fucked up. Was that something that the bar decided, or was that a city regulation that they were trying to comply with? Either way, it's fucked up. I'm just saying. I'm curious. Unstable Deadbeat says, just tried Googling if it's possible to buy bricks from Stonewall, but nothing relevant came up. Lots of articles about Stonewall, but not about buying bricks. Shame. If unions suck so much, why do cops love theirs? Yeah. It's a misnomer. It means any action is fireable. Sky Comet says, I was fired because I have autism once. I can't even ever prove it because I live in a right-to-work state, but I know that's why I was. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a huge problem with America's labor market. On top of that, the United States, most people get their insurance through their jobs. People from, the UK, imagine if you could get fired any day for any reason on the whims of your boss, and then you don't have health care also. So if you get sick or have to go to the hospital or need an ambulance, have an accident, all of a sudden you have no insurance and you're unemployed. And an ambulance ride costs $3,500. And that's just the ambulance ride. America's a scary-ass fucking place, people. Gnome Pickles says, had a kid ask me once when we were talking about starting union at my old job, quote, if a union was such a good thing, then why wouldn't Management set one up for us. Since they don't have unions, they must be bad for us because I know they care about us. I struggled trying to figure out if they were a plant or shockingly naive. Let me be clear about something. The business you work for, no matter how much you like your manager, unless your manager is the owner of the business, irrelevant. The way that the society functions, we are so many steps removed from personal employer-employee relationships in most places. Everything is a giant corporation. So you might have a boss, but that boss has a boss, and that boss has a boss, and that boss has a boss's 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 boss. The people who are making decisions about, like, we need to cut 10% of the workforce to bolster our share value for the next 3 months so I can get my bonus, that person has never met you. They don't care about you. Corporate policy is not dictated by your friends in corporate. They're dictated by random people in corporate. They're dictated by money people who don't care about you personally. This was frustrating too, and I'm sorry today I'm bringing up my parents so much, but another illustrative thing about some working class people's delusions about how corporations feel about them. I've talked about my mom getting in an accident before. She had an accident. Her wrist got cut. Because long story short, basically, she fell on a piece of jagged glass. She fell down some steps onto a piece of jagged glass. I'm actually wondering, with her alcohol problems, was she drunk at the time? Was she day drinking and I didn't know about it? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, Radiology says, it was a decision by the bar. It's one of the reasons Martha P. Johnson wasn't there for the first night of the riots. She was passed out on a bench. She was homeless at the time. After having had a good night at the non-segregated gay bar, she was there from night 2 of the riot onwards. She climbed a lamppost and dropped bricks through the windscreens of police cars as they drove past on their way up to put down the riot. Wow. Well, owners of Stonewall were fucking assholes. That's a shame. Doesn't change the importance of the event, but yeah. History's more shades of gray than it is black and white, usually. Nonetheless. Anyway, what I was saying was, my mom got in an accident. All sorts of stuff got screwed up in her wrist. She dealt with chronic pain. She got addicted to pain meds. Basically, she was a manager at a bank, and the policy of this bank and the way the contract she had with the bank worked, she didn't know this at the time, but she got like a year of paid sick leave, which is more than the vast majority of people get. The fact that she even had this is fucking astounding. So anyway, she had like a year where the company gave her, like, she was still employed by the company and they were still paying her for a year. In this year, again, she got addicted to the pain pills, her alcoholism got worse, whatever. She got really depressed about the chronic pain, and this led to the addiction to the pills along with alcohol and stuff, which she wasn't supposed to be drinking alcohol with these anyway. Anyway, one day, like literally, this was a day after a year had passed. 360, how many days are in a year usually? 365? 366? Whatever. It was one day over the year that they had to. They fired her. And she was shocked. She cried, and she was like, how could they do this to me? And it's like, did you think that the giant bank that you work for gives a shit about you? I was so confused, because even at that point, I was in high school, but even then, I was like, do you really not understand that this company doesn't care about you? Like, your coworkers that you know personally might, but the company doesn't. Like, it's like she really had fallen for, like, decades of bullshit corporate speak about family and we care about each other. It was Chase. At least now it was Huntington. Huntington, but I don't even think it was Huntington at the time. It was whoever got bought by Huntington. First Merit Bank, I want to say. Banks merge all the time. It doesn't matter. You know, I don't blame the bank for this any more than as much as I hate any other bank. But anyway, she was like upset and she tried to sue the bank, which went nowhere, and she wasted money doing that. Like, she just couldn't believe that they didn't care and did as little as they could. They did the bare minimum of the contract. It's so funny that these people are deluded. Companies don't care about you. You are not the person they care about. They care about shareholders. They care about profits. And you are secondary to all of those things. Okay? They would cut your job like that if they thought it would save them a little bit. The only reason you're employed is because the people who employ you need you to some extent or another, and they feel that the amount that they are paying you is worth less than the value you are giving them. The second that that business proposition changes, you're gone. They don't give a shit.
Okay. To fund Democrats, to tell you how to vote.
Unions do often, generally, promote a candidate or endorse a candidate because Republicans tend to be anti-union and Democrats tend to be pro-union, at least rhetorically. Sky Comet says, we're a family. We care about our employees unless you want a raise or paid time off or to go home early because you're coughing blood or another person on your shift with you. But look, a pizza party. Let me put it this way. When I worked at Toys R Us, they made us watch a couple union busting videos that was just straight up fucking propaganda. Why did they put money into making this propaganda and made it part of every orientation if it didn't cost them more money and have to pay you more if you were in a union? Rachology says Stonewall wasn't owned... Sorry there. Stonewall wasn't owned by gay people. It was a mob bar, hence why they turned a blind eye to illegal gay stuff. It's also why when the cops who called in for backup didn't get it, so got beat up, leading to riots. He was anti-corruption and had pissed off all the cops who were taking money from the mob, so they just hung up on him when he said he was under threat. That's funny. My necklace is super cute. Where'd I get it? My wife got me this cute slasher choker. It's very cute. I find this interesting, and I talked about this a while back with Baha, and it's interesting to me how the history of the mob, a lot of it, and organized crime in general, relies upon organized crime providing a service or something to marginalized groups when the police or government in general refuses to. So, for instance, old-timey bank robbers, you know, I know this is a trope, but I'm talking generally, because this really did happen. People going into banks, shooting the place up, not like necessarily murdering a bunch of people, but just like, I have a gun, you know, and burning loan documents. You know what I mean? The mob knew that they needed people on their side. Just a thought. It's interesting how marginalized groups can get put in with criminal organizations because they've already been marginalized, so they seek alternative avenues for safe places, you know.
And they well, we care about work safety and blah, 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 blah.
Correct. That's one of the things that unions do, is to protect workers from things that might not be covered by OSHA, or making sure that if there are OSHA violations, they get handled easily, quickly, without a friggin' hassle from the company, because companies don't want to do anything if it costs money, even if it involves the safety of their employees.
No.
Oh, he said no. He said no, guys. You got us.
The UAW president, I think his name is, I forgot his name, something Fain. Steve Fain or something Fain. Whatever.
Can Jimmy Hoffa come back from the dead and, like, do a Christmas carol to every anti-union person? Just like, Ghost of Christmas Past. Here's a family that's able to survive off one income from a union job. Ghost of Christmas Present. Here's employees being forced to work unfavorable hours in terrible conditions. Ghost of Christmas Future. Here's a bunch of virtual slave labor because unions aren't a thing and labor has no rights in the future, even less than now.
Oh, he's not worried about, you know, the money. There's a lot of good people in a UAW. I don't support the UAW. The UAW is shit.
Why? Don't you like that the people that you know in the UAW get compensated more fairly because of the organization that they're in?
Okay. They're trash. I didn't say the auto worker. You go to work, you put food on your family's table, you put a roof over your wife's head, your kid's head. you got my respect.
Okay, so then you want unions. Unions are a good thing then because they facilitate workers being able to provide for their families by getting paid fairly for their labor instead of taken advantage of by businesses. Rageology says, shout out to the Queer as Fact historical podcast. Their Stonewall episode is excellent, and they also do world queer history, not just Western stuff. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
He doesn't like unions, but what about weekdays and helping do away with child labor laws? Oh my god, you're not going to believe how this gets taught to some kids. When I was in school, I got taught Henry Ford was just super fucking cool and just gave people time off for funsies. Like, there was no mention when I was really little about the union stuff. It was all just like, Henry Ford made it so that weekends were 2-day weekends. Like, it's just fucking asinine propaganda shit.
Okay. And a lot of people fall into that trap.
Sorry, MH Dark Beast. Bum bum bum, I will find the bits, I will find the bits, they're up here somewhere. Why can't I find? Speaking of a loser Chud, I mentioned this Hollywood is demonic video. Look what he's still obsessed with. Can you post the link again so I can see it?
Of the UAW, well, they're for me, and they dock your pay.
Henry Ford is Michigan lore. He's also a big piece of shit. Henry Ford was a Nazi sympathizer piece of shit. Just letting you know. You can feel however you want about the company Ford. The actual guy was a Nazi sympathizer, like that fucking Charles Lindbergh fuck.
Hey, because we're looking out for you. You know what the Mafia did back in the 60s and 70s in Brooklyn?
We're not in Brooklyn, sir. We're in Michigan.
Italian mobs would go over to the Greek party stores, liquor stores, the Muslim-owned liquor stores, the Arab-owned liquor stores, and say, hey, you pay us, we'll make sure you don't have an accident.
Rob, the union isn't doing that.
If you don't pay us, we can't guarantee your safety. That's what the UAW does!
No, it's not. Oh, I see. He thinks... No. You pay dues to an organization so that you can get the benefits of said organization. I don't understand what you don't get about this. Union workers get paid better than non-union workers and better benefits. So they're getting more money than they are paying to the union. In your example, it would be more like the mob walked into someone's store and said, give us $30 now, and I'll make sure you get $100 every week for the next year, and then every year you pay me $30, but I'll make sure you get more, and then it actually happens. Jesus Christ, Rob. Get less brainwashed, please.
Pay us, we'll guarantee your job.
And look at that, it works. Wow.
I know a guy, UAW, I'm not going to say his name.
I think you should join the UAW, Anti-Pretzel. I think that would be good.
He told me a story. He says that one guy showed up to work drunk. So fucking drunk. He ended up urinating on the fucking factory floor.
Okay, that's not good. That person needs treatment for alcoholism. If the union is facilitating that, cool. And even if the union isn't, I'm just gonna put this out there. I would rather a few people who shouldn't be protected than have the opposite and have no one get protection. How do you not understand this? Like, if that guy's an alcoholic, that sucks. Genuinely, that sucks. But does he deserve to lose his job over it? I don't know the situation. He probably needs help. But if he does deserve to lose his job, I'm willing to take that as a casualty of making sure other people are safe from giant corporations. Because right now, how many people really do get fucked over and fired for no reason? No good reason other than the owner wants to make shareholders happy by cutting jobs and making other people work harder to cover for the labor shortage.
I'm an independent contractor. I work for myself. I've been working for myself for many years. But I know if I go to work for somebody...
I would bet so much money that he is not properly filing his taxes for all his contractor stuff.
And I show up drunk, pissed on the motherfucking floor. I'm probably gonna get reprimanded, suspended, possibly even fired.
Instead of looking at outliers, how about one day you show up to work and everyone, like 10% of the workforce gets pink sheets. Not because anything's really in downturn, just because your boss's 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 boss wants a boat and they'll get a bonus if in this quarter they cut expenses. So they decide to cut labor. Is that fair, Rob? You're going to an extreme example of someone who is in the wrong to try and say the whole system is fucked, as if the only or primary thing unions do is protect bad workers, when in reality it protects all workers, good workers, from shitbags who want to use them, abuse them, and throw them away.
So this guy, the one that was urinating on the floor, he went to the union and they saved his job.
Cool.
He went into work the next day and that was it.
Was he sober? Assuming he was sober, because they don't just say, no, you can never fire someone who's drunk on the job. That's not how it works. By the way, union people don't want that either. Do you think this person's fellow workers want them working around heavy machinery? Drunk? No. But maybe this person had a really bad time, is dealing with some sort of addiction, and there was an intervention and said, like, hey, you can't do this, we need to get you some help, but we're also not going to fire you. But I imagine there was disciplinary action. He probably got some sort of like, hey, here's a warning, you can't have this happen again. Because you can be fired for cause. It's not like it's impossible to get fired when you're in a union. You absolutely can. And you should if you're consistently doing stuff like that. But that's not the case here. You specifically found one case, which I don't know if this is something you read on Facebook or if you heard it from Rush Limbaugh or something. Oh, he's dead. You couldn't have. One of the other right-wing talking point people. It's not emblematic of the union system as a whole.
Tell me that the UAW is not a mafia.
Sure, the UAW isn't a mafia. It's a labor union, and I am fully in favor of them.
Without telling me that the UAW is a mafia. Sounds like a mafia to me.
Is an insurance company the mafia because if you give them money monthly, if something bad happens, they'll pay you? Are insurance companies the mob? Rob.
They're no better than the teachers union. Teachers union is more fucked up.
Maybe if you paid teachers better, you'd have better people being teachers. It's almost like in a market economy when you pay teachers worse than almost any other private interest that could use them with their degree, you're going to get really, really bad candidates. I've had great teachers in my life and I've had terrible teachers. Both exist. I understand. But if you want to fix teaching in the United States, if you want to fix the educational system, you got to put money into it. And that's not what you want to do.
Because now the teachers have to teach.
Does this also apply to police unions? You would hope if he's consistent. MH Darkbeast says, I guess I'll send it with biddies again, but speaking of loser chuds, we discussed his Hollywood is demonic videos, but he made this separate video. Oh, yeah. Armored skeptic, you fucking ass. Okay, I'm saving this. I'm probably going to start covering his stuff on tinfoil, because a lot of people have asked, and I've heard it's just kooky. Anti-Pretzel says, unions formed for worker safety, better, fairer working conditions, and such literally because companies were treating people like crap. Workers had to fight for the conditions we have today. A steel worker from the 20s would likely shit ingots if he saw how well kept the places are these days. Yeah. Really seems like people don't understand all of the benefits that have come to them via unions. Because we don't get taught it. Weird. It's almost like the history of labor and the rights that have been fought for by labor over decades and decades in America aren't taught very specifically for some reason. Weird. I wonder why. Why aren't labor victories and labor rights talked about in history class? I wonder why. That's fucking crazy.
Doctrination bullshit. DEI. Well, don't you care about people? Don't you care about including everybody?
I mean, you should care about people, yeah. It's generally good.
Yes, I do, as a Christian, as a...
Rob, your religion doesn't mean you like people. I don't know if you know this, but many Christians, the very loud ones, in fact use their Christianity to justify who they hate and why. So the idea that, like, I'm a Christian, I can't hate people or not care about people is so funny.
A Jesus-loving Christian, yes.
I'm a Jesus-loving Christian. Don't seem like you're a human-loving Christian, though.
Don't twist my fucking words, okay? And diversity, inclusion, equity. Bullshit. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You're hiding that crap. You're hiding the fact that you want to include everybody, but you're hiding it under diversity, inclusion, equity, whatever you want to call it. DEI.
I'm sorry, do you think that inclusiveness is a bad thing? How could you possibly say the opposite? How could you possibly say that it's not a good thing to include people and not exclude them arbitrarily? This idea that, like, inclusivity means incompetent people is so funny because it unintentionally shows that they legitimately think that just there are no competent non-white people. Because once you say, like, hey, we should make sure that there's not, like, discrimination going on, their first thing is like, oh, so someone who's worse for the job, but they're a woman is gonna get the job? Why is that your first thought? You assume that there are no women or black people or like queer people who could do this job better than you? Maybe check your fucking ego. Maybe you're not that great. How many random ass white people have been given a job that should have gone to someone who was more qualified, but they didn't get the job because they were black or queer or something, some group that society didn't like at the time? The idea that, like, it's so funny how upset they get at inclusivity because they benefited from basically the reverse of what they're claiming they're afraid of for decades, centuries. The idea of, like, affirmative action. Before affirmative action, you know what was happening? Affirmative action for white straight cis dudes. Oh, you're a white random guy who's just whatever. I have other people could have the job, but only white people are allowed to have these jobs in public facing because it's the 1950s, and we don't respect people who aren't that. Like, think about that. How many mediocre ass random white people got a job that could have gone to someone more qualified, but it was the 50s. So gay people, black people, basically any non-white Protestant person was not considered for jobs. Have you considered that that wasn't that way just because you were the best at it? Have you considered that you're upset because now your unfair advantage is gone and now you have to stand on your own as a person instead of being like, well, I'm a white guy, so that means I'm trustworthy? Fuck off. Fuck off, Rob.
Call it what it is. DIE. Diversity, inclusion, equity. DIE spells die.
Fucking got him. He watched a Jordan Peterson video. Rage and Rob has some of the worst opinions of all the people I cover. Oh, for sure. He's incredibly ignorant and arrogant. It's a terrible combination.
'Cause socialism kills.
Socialism kills.
They hide this crap under the...
Did you know, that workers' rights are what killed people in the Soviet Union and not purges by the Stalin regime and overall authoritarianism? It was specifically the socialism and not the totalitarianism or any of that.
The blanket of...
It's so funny, too. Like, I don't think no one but tankies tries to defend the Soviet Union. Like, it's just not a thing. No one is advocating for Soviet Union-style Stalinist communism. That's a fantasy The only people who do that are people who are like Burger King guy, and he's a certified idiot. Just a weird boogeyman. Have you considered that like people on the left just want people to have health care? Like a small portion of the budget that we currently spend on so much stupid shit. Maybe we make a few fewer missiles. Maybe we make a few fewer stealth planes that never get used. And we make sure people have medication for their asthma. Or whatever they have going on. You know? Weird, huh? Maybe we just want workers to be paid more fairly. Maybe we don't want totalitarianism. Have you considered? Jesus Christ. Profane Priestess says, people literally got murdered over this stuff. Ever heard of the Pinkertons, Rob? I'll tell ya. You see, back in the day, before unions were widespread, we had these people, we called them robber barons, and they had so much money they could do whatever they pleased. Eventually, the workers got tired of it, and thus the unions were born. You know what these people hired Pinkertons as? Private military to murder the unionists. Many died so you could have a break, show some respect. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. M. Scheffler says, yes, we all know of the starvation and rampant extrajudicial killings going on in Canada and Sweden. It's so funny, too, because when you're talking about the concept of socialism, you have to talk around so many different definitions. Like, people on the right in America say that, like, Europe and Canada are socialist. They're not. They're really not. But they do have better regulation, labor rights, and social services, generally. You know what I mean? It's so funny that the bar is so low that the government providing basic services for people is considered socialism. Just so stupid.
Socialism, okay, that's what they do. And then if you're against it, if you're against DEI, they make it sound like you're a fucking bigot, a white supremacist.
I mean, you are that. I've heard you talk enough. I know that you are.
Oh, you don't care about people? Bullshit. It's just like the MSU strong, Oxford strong shit. Here in Michigan, you know what I'm talking about. If you're outside of Michigan, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. You know, the shootings that happen at Oxford High School and the shootings that happen at MSU High School, they have, you know, they had the Oxford strong and the MSU strong. All right, and okay, that sounds good.
I have no idea what... This is going to be the worst take he's ever had. I can feel it in my bones. No Pickle says, if we can afford to stockpile 3,000 of these in a warehouse, then I'm sure we can afford healthcare and food programs. Abrams M1 tanks.
Good, right? Oxford strong, yeah. MSU strong. You went through a tragedy. It was a horrible event. Some people got murdered. It was horrible.
Oh, wow. You are being so blasé about the mass shooting murders that happened. Holy shit. DM Trey says, my Nazi uncle's wife decided to become his ex-wife. Hilarious. I hope they stay in touch. That's funny.
7 people are dead. I don't know how many more victims, but both incidents were horrible. Don't get me wrong. Evil is bad.
Evil is bad. Hot take, Rob.
Both incidents were the act of evil.
At least the MSU one seemed to be the work of pretty severe mental illness based on the note the murderer left. Again, it's so interesting to me how right-wingers have black and white ideology. I agree that, like, in the general sense, yes, it is an evil event, but there are reasons for it. He's not Michael Myers. If you look into the guy who did that shooting, that fucking tragedy, he was mentally ill, like, pretty severely. Which, again, doesn't excuse it, but maybe if you understood things with a little more nuance, you could be like, wow, maybe we have systemic issues involving both weapons and mental health care that need to be dealt with. But instead you just go, no, it's evil. I don't have to think about it. Evil, evil, evil. You can't stop evil. Evil's a thing. Satan, evil. So we might as well not even try and think about systemic solutions to systemic problems.
Evil does not come from a magazine and a gun. It comes from the heart, and it comes...
Okay, and then the person who feels that way uses a gun to murder a bunch of people, which is way easier than if they used a different weapon.
It's from the brain.
I'm not even, like, I've talked about this. I'm not even anti-all gun ownership. I'm really not. I'm a leftist. I get it. I get why people want to own guns. I'm not against it. I'm for responsible gun ownership and reasonable regulations. universal background checks, making sure people with severe mental health problems don't have access easily to weapons or at all. This isn't controversial. At least it shouldn't be. I just don't even understand what they're doing at this point, because it feels like when we grow up, I'm 30, when the kids that are this generation and younger continue to grow up as the population gets more and more filled with, like, Zoomers and then Gen Alpha, I feel like their view of guns is going to be so culturally different than the 20th century American gun culture, because it's all for them been, like, filtered through weekly, daily mass shootings. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting. I find it funny, because if you don't try and make reasonable accommodations here and regulation, all that's going to happen is the younger people now are going to grow up and be even harsher on guns, which if that happens, it happens. I just don't get it. They're fighting against a tide of changing sentiment surrounding America's feelings of guns. I don't think America will ever have no guns. I wouldn't even want that necessarily. But certain guns, there is no reason for it. I still don't understand why you need a semi-automatic rifle for any reason. Any reason. If you're like, oh, I hunt with one, you can't hunt with a bolt action? You can't hunt with something that doesn't let you just pull the trigger for a really long time? Chill out. It's just weird. Like, your preference for gun isn't as important as children's lives, you selfish asshole. Fucking take up bow hunting or something, my god. Fenekagami says, just finished moving my mother and brother into my house. Now I just need to finish getting all their stuff out of the old place. Almost done, y'all. Oh look, Raging Rob. And here I was complaining about actual things. Sorry, let's watch this. In your novel, you invented the torment nexus? Oh god. I can't even play this. I can't play it because the strike is still going. But yes, I'm aware that Netflix is doing a stupid fucking reality version of Squid Game, missing the entire point of Squid Game. Terradona says, Rob would feel very differently if he was affected, even just tangentially, to a school shooting. Probably. Yeah, Upton Sinclair, The Jungle is great. Unfortunately, at the time, a lot of people took it more as like, ew, meat production is gross. I don't want to eat that, and less about the labor stuff. Gnome Pickle says, guns don't kill people, but they sure help. One of Paul Giamatti's best characters.
That's where evil comes from. Okay? Both events were evil at work.
Wow, if it wasn't so easy for quote-unquote evil to get guns.
Don't get me wrong. Horrible events, thoughts and prayers. I send my condolences to the...
Fuck off. How are you unironically using thoughts and prayers in the late 2023? Seems like those thoughts and prayers aren't coming through. We're on American mass shooting 7,653 for the year. So.
Families. You know, I pray for Oxford. I pray for...
Wow, the prayers aren't working, bud. Maybe actually do something. I'm not religious, but if I was, I'd be so furious at these people. Like, if I was a Christian, I'd be like, God fucking hates you, and Jesus hates you too. Like, you think there's an all-powerful God of the universe that cares about people, and you think that that person, who in the New Testament was pretty clear about being a pacifist, you think that that person wants you to own murder weapons and just absolutely die on that hill? Just delusional. Why even believe the religion if you're not even going to actually follow what it says? Like, what are you doing? Find a religion that follows what you actually want instead of warping one to be what you are. Sky Comet says, what if you could keep evil from having post-birth abortion devices?
MSU. However,
post-birth abortion. Jesus Christ.
Here's the thing.
Hydrate.
MSU strong, Oxford strong. Sounds good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take the blanket off. And what do you have? Gun control. They're pushing for an assault weapons ban.
Cool.
High-capacity magazine ban.
Cool.
Red flag laws.
Cool.
Safe storage.
Cool.
This. And
Cool. Generic, but cool.
And that.
Cool.
And that. And now they're calling for a 26th Amendment or 27th Amendment, whatever, to ban assault rifles. And it's just bullshit.
All right, you can disagree. Younger people probably aren't gonna, as years go by, and more of them enter the voting population, and more boomers and older Gen Xers disappear from the voting population. Happens to us all. The wheel just keeps turning, Rob.
MSU Strong thing and the Oxford Strong thing.
I just hope for younger people they're gonna make a wheel that's a little less bloody, you know? Anti-Pretzel says, I stopped believing in a god because praying didn't make my father live longer. What did was the people in the medical field helping him with his illness. Prayer hasn't done shit. Get off your ass and learn shit. You, Hannah, I legally can't use the words I want to, but just imagine a long censor beep. Alright.
So, it funds Democrats, and it funds gun control. That's what...
If you don't want, like, super PACs and, like, organizations like businesses and unions to be able to make unlimited donations to politicians, then you should be against Citizens United, right? You should want laws passed that say that companies can't donate to political campaigns and non-human organizations.
But it does.
Because I'd be in favor of that. Literally, unions are a counterbalance in the market. How can you not understand this? If you want a market economy, unions are necessary as a balancing force for labor against capitalism. Against capital, I should say, rather. Like, literally, that's the point. It's business. If you want business, unions are a part of business. It's literally people whose labor businesses need and want to pay for collectively coming together and bargaining so that they aren't undercutting each other. It's part of the system.
And they hide under
Especially if you're the kind of right-winger that loves the 1950s and 60s for whatever reason. At the very least, the idea of it you have in your head. Maybe we need more unions. Have you considered that the market is worse for you because union membership isn't as high as it was in the 50s? Gasp, what? Yeah, union membership in the United States was highest in like the 50s and 60s. The era that you people pine for. It's almost like unions are important to the economy. Wow.
The blanket of Oxford Strong and MSU Strong. Well, it's the same thing with this DEI shit. They hide under that blanket. They hide that socialism under the blanket of...
They hide that socialism. Socialism is when mentally ill people can't buy guns.
Well, we include everybody.
He's such a fucking idiot. Fenekagami says, by the way, I got 5 wasp stings moving today. Also, notice on how all these MAGA people ignore all the school children protesting guns and anti-trans and say they're children, they don't know what they're talking about. But if not even a quarter of a school walk out to protest trans people, suddenly they're all like, listen to the children, even though I'm pretty sure the children were coached. Yeah, agreed.
We care
Wasn't spousal abuse rampant in the 50s? Yes. And murder.
Diverse. So that's the problem with that. Just like the UAW and the teachers union.
Oh, I'm sure, Baha. Mute if you need to. I know he's being just dog shit.
Sounds good. Well, we care about you. You pay us, and we'll keep your job.
Hey, here's the great thing about a union. I don't have to personally like them or believe that they personally care about me for our interests to be aligned. This is such a blind spot for right-wingers, and I think this is a huge problem for them about not understanding the behavior of people different from them. So, okay. People who are big MAGA voters, for instance, they'll be like, I love Donald Trump, and they'll have a bunch of Trump merchandise and flags, and they'll be like, look at how big his rallies are. He loves us. He wouldn't do this to us, you know, and they never believe any accusations against him because they've created a fake parasocial version of him that exists in their head. Whereas, like, myself and you guys, I'd imagine, like, I voted for Biden. It's not because I love Biden. It's not because I even like Biden that much. He certainly wasn't my first choice. He was pretty bottom of the list in terms of the primaries for me. However, in terms of the choice that we had in 2020, I made a strategic decision to vote for someone whose interests align with my own more than the other person. It's not about this idea of, like, trust and the belief that, like, this person is some ideal, like, person I love. It's about recognizing, okay, what is this person's policy positions? What is this person's interests? Are they the same as mine, or at least enough of them that I want this person in power as opposed to another one? So you don't have to like a union or think that they're operating out of some, like, just sense of goodwill. I don't. Unions aren't a charity. I'm not pretending they are. And I'm not going to pretend that everyone in a union is good or a perfect person or great or altruistic. However, unions, the interest of the union is the same as the interest of the worker in most cases. So that's why they're a benefit. You don't have to think they're like, oh, they just love you personally as a worker. They probably don't. I don't think they give a shit. I think that the people in the union care about their jobs. I think they care about their families. I think they want their fellow workers to be treated well. People in the actual structure of the union don't know. But it doesn't matter, because the purpose of the union and its goals are aligned with that of workers, no matter what your personal beliefs are about the people who run it.
And people don't see it. They hide under that blanket. You know what I mean? I know. I had several relatives.
How long do I think this current strike, not just swag one, there's a bunch more? I mean, it's going to depend on the different... Like, I don't know what the UAW people are asking for specifically. I don't know the progress on... I know that the Writers Guild is sitting down again today. They met yesterday with the studios, and they're meeting again today, so maybe some progress is happening. Either that probably finishes soon, or it'll hold over until 24. Don't know about the UAW. I don't know what their requests are and stuff, so SAG is still working.
That are involved in the UAW, okay? I know what the hell goes on. This used to be a right-to-work state.
And that was just terrible. Do you know before it was a right-to-work state, we were super pro-union? Rob? Right-to-work didn't pop into existence when Michigan did.
It was for many years. One thing that Rick Snyder got right.
Rick Snyder's a big piece of shit that should be in prison. At best. You know how many people he killed? How many children's lives he ruined through his actions that led to the poisoning of people in Flint? He should be in prison for the rest of his life. Every day of the rest of his life, and anyone in his administration that had anything to do with the decisions he made.
You guys understand what right to work is, right?
Right to work is literally you can just get fired. You can just get fired for whatever fucking reason. Union stuff isn't compulsory.
The right to have the mafia take money out of my pay for protection or not.
Literally, if you are benefiting from a union, for those who don't know, right to work in Michigan also allowed, for instance, you to work at a place that has union without actually being in the union. It's a roundabout way of trying to basically undermine the union by getting some of the workers into the place and they get the benefits of the union stuff, but they don't pay dues. So basically it was a roundabout way of trying to undercut unions and get rid of their financial support from members. Are union memberships mandatory? In some places, yes. Like at certain factories can be union places and you need to be in the union. Absolutely, yes.
And I choose not.
Well, so you're benefiting from all the union stuff, but you're not actually putting any of your money in. Sounds like you're a selfish cunt. Glad you have to pay in now if it's a Michigan company.
I was 21 years old.
His employer could fire him for making this video. He can hate unions, but why doesn't he want his employment to be protected? Some working class right-wing people have this weird delusional idea that capital class people deserve the things that they do, and in part they hope they will one day be the boot. Like, Rob wants people to be able to get fired for whatever reason, because maybe someday he'll be in a position to fire people. You know what I mean? Or he genuinely doesn't understand the system and thinks that he's safe, and no one ever gets unjustly fired. In which case, he's even dumber than I thought. MH Darkbeast says, speaking of SAG, whether you love him or hate him, you have to appreciate this. Depends. Seth MacFarlane donates $5 million to Entertainment Community Fund to kickstart new $10 million initiative. That's good. Don't know much about the guy personally. Don't really like Family Guy. Definitely had some really yikes trans shit back in the day.
This is before Right to Work. When I think who was governor when I was 21? I think it was Granholm. Yeah, but anyway, I was 21 years old. I went to apply for a job at Kroger. Everything looked good. Hey, would you like to do the interview? I'm like, or no, they called me for an interview, and passed the interview, ace flying colors.
Okay. Citosaurus says, right to work is different from at will. Just FYI, I'm sorry, I am conflating the two terms. I apologize.
I'm a good talker. All right.
Right to work is that you don't have to be in a union. At will is being fired for no reason.
Who'd like you to come in for orientation? I'm like, awesome. I got a job. I'm going to get paid. And then I'm going to take my girlfriend out and I'm going to get laid.
The trans thing was new to Seth. You were there once too. Does that mean it's appropriate to do an entire scene where someone finds out they slept with a trans woman and they vomit for like 5 minutes straight? I'm glad if he got better. But you can't just be like, If your first reaction to finding out something new about someone or finding out about a group of people is to demonize them and say they're so disgusting everyone wants to vomit, that's not just ignorance, that's punching down. That's being like, oh, here's a new group of people I didn't know about. Better make fun of them and make a joke on my network TV show about how they're so disgusting people want to vomit if they make physical contact with them. Like, this isn't just not knowing. I get it. I'm not one of these people who's like, you made a tweet 10 years ago, so I always think you're a piece of shit. No, people grow and change. I'm one of those people. I've grown and changed. Even before I came out, I said some yikesy shit when I was in the closet. Because I had less of an understanding about myself and the trans community as a whole, and I parroted a lot of really dumb shit and memes that were just transphobic stuff in disguise. It's totally fine to have mistakes in your past. But, like, you need to own up to them and be like, that was fucked up, I'm so sorry. I've done that. If Seth has done that, excellent. I hope he has. But I just, it wasn't a little slip. It was a whole joke that had to be written and voice recorded and animated and aired. This isn't just some slip of the tongue. This isn't just someone accidentally dead-naming or misgendering because they don't understand. This was an actual joke at the expense of trans women. Anyway. I didn't mean to make a whole thing out of that. I don't really hate him. I don't know what he's like. He likes musicals, which I appreciate. The Orville's good. You know what? I'll even say, in the Orville, there's some good gender stuff, so he's probably fine now. There's a whole subplot in the Orville that's about a character that's... There's an allegory for trans and gender issues, so he probably has gotten better, which is good. I appreciate. He also does a mean rendition of River City. One of these days, chat, I'm gonna sing to you Trouble in River City, and it's gonna be good. I like being a good patter song. Anyway, Paladin's Fury says, right to work means having the right to work for whatever your boss wants to pay. You're right about them wanting to be the boot. Right-wingers also live in fear that when they're out of power, that's what's been done to minorities will happen to them, to the powerful. Cult of Cautious Optimism says, as someone who has worked for Kroger in Ohio for 7 years, I've worked Central Ohio and Cincinnati. Columbus is mandatory union and the pay for workers is higher across the board, and stores meet higher quality standards. Unions can and do work. They absolutely do. Unions, there is no metric. I have never seen a Republican pull out some sort of metric that says unions are bad for workers. Ever. I have never seen that. I have never seen any numerical evidence that unions on the whole are bad for workers as opposed to not having unions. I have only ever seen the opposite. I'm sure there's some think tanks who have thrown some shit together. I'm assuming it's bullshit. It just doesn't make any goddamn sense. Unions help you. Join them if you can.
So I went into orientation. First day of orientation. Okay, we need to sign this paper. I'm like, what's this? Okay. This assures that you will be joining a union. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Wait, did this idiot actually say no to a union job just because he's been propagandized to? That's kind of fucking hilarious.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, Baha, the thing you sent, I saw.
I don't want to join a union. Well, you have to join a union.
Yep, it would benefit you, Rob. It would have been good for you. You have every right to not work there, which apparently you didn't, if you didn't want to join the union. But that was stupid on your part. It was pretty fucking stupid. MH Darkbeast says, agreed, Hannah. Even American Dad treated the trans issues better. American Dad's a better show in general. I'll actually still watch American Dad. Especially the later seasons that he has no involvement in. It's a relatively funny adult comedy. MH Darkbeast says, agreed, Hannah. Even American Dad treated trans issues better, giving Haley shit for pulling down his brother's pants, her brother's pants, and the roller derby group they were with saying that we're in a post-gender world. Just because Steve has a penis doesn't make them a boy. Plus, yes, the Orville treated the trans issue really well. I actually remember that episode, the roller derby. Jake Thoney, thanks for 18 months. Says, I love this man. Let's see. Stream Baby's name is going to be John Hoffa the second.
That's the requirement. Like, adios, motherfucker!
I think that they lucked out that you didn't take that job.
I walked out that fucking room.
That is so funny. Do you know how many people would just beg for union jobs, and this guy fucking walked out because Fox News brainwashed him into thinking it was bad for him, even though it's good, and he would have gotten paid well?
Faster than O.J. Simpson walked through the fucking Chicago airport after he...
You can't try and pay me a fair wage, because then people I don't like might also get paid fairly. Crabs in a bucket. Genius.
Murdered Nicole. That's a fact. I never joined a union, and I will not. The mafia is not taking money out of my fucking paycheck.
No, but your boss is. More than the mafia would, if that's what you want to call them. Update. Son condemns father's SS antics. No kidding, I would hope. I'm going to reject the Black's Law thing just because I don't want to deal with looking through the book right now. No, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it for free. I'm not sure if it's in the book, but now I'm curious. Exclusive bargaining representative. Let's see if it's in here. A, B, C, D, E. Exclusive. What was it? Exclusive bargaining representative? I don't think it's in here, unfortunately. At least not in this. This isn't the full edition. That's a shame. How about this one then? Unless it's early on the next page and I missed it? No, because it goes to F. That's a shame. Okay. Exclusive contract, a contract by which one binds himself to sell or buy from only one person for his total requirements. See entire output contract. Exclusive dealing arrangements, required contract. That was the legal term for a union. Gotcha. Haha, I turned down better pay and benefits. Adios, motherfuckers. He's so proud of himself and he doesn't even realize that he shot himself in the foot. He's so dumb. Let's see. He accused his father of enjoying offending people with his interest in the Nazis, obviously. Estranged from his father in part due to his deep interest in the Third Reich. Oh yeah, this guy's just an actual fucking Nazi. Yeah. It's just a joke, bro. It's not. Fuck off.
Fuck you. I don't want your goddamn protection. So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts about the strike. I'm not against the working man and the working woman.
You are. You can pretend you're not, but being anti-union is being anti-worker. Period. Anything else is propaganda. Period. Anyone who is telling you that unions are bad for workers is someone who is lying to you or has been lied to. There is no downside to unions, practically speaking. Just don't. Just don't.
You go to work every day, you put food on your table.
It's basically being a class traitor. I don't even like that word. It's intense. But it's basically what it is.
Your wife and kids and, stepkids.
You're the kind of person who in the American Revolution would have been like, nah, man, I like the king. Kings are cool. Like you're literally just trying to defend unjust hierarchies of power. It just so happens this person isn't a king. They're, people who are wealthy on boards of companies, the chief executive officers, the chief financial officers. These people are fucking you.
Whatever, baby mama. Whatever. You got my respect. You bring a paycheck home to the family. You got my respect. You're a working man. You got kids. You got, some of these...
What if a bunch of working men and women want to get together and collectively make their bosses pay them fairly for the job and make their bosses treat them like human beings? Because that's what a union is. A union isn't some generic force. A union is the collective power of all of the workers together. It's not an abstract concept. It is the will and concerns of workers being voiced to capital. That's the point. It's not some random thing that's making shit up that workers don't like. It is literally comprised of the workers. They vote on things like strikes.
Parents are single moms and, trying to hold down a job after that for a few hours.
If they had union jobs, it would be easier.
Get their kid off to college and, whatever, You provide for your family. I got nothing but respect for you.
Okay, then be pro-union, otherwise you're a hypocrite. That's it.
I have little respect for the mafia that's stealing from the working man and
the working man is the person you're talking about. The union is comprised of the workers. You can't say I'm in support of workers, but also fuck the workers. The union is the workers. Anti-Pretzel says a good way to remember how a union works. There's more workers than there's a boss. 100 voices are stronger than one.
Working woman to money launder.
To money launder. I don't think he knows what money laundering is.
Money to the Democratic Party.
What money do you think is being laundered? Like, in what way? Like, who do you think is getting illicit funds and then funneling them into PACs or whatever for the UAW to donate to Democrats? Like, what is the specific claim you're making here? It feels like otherwise you're just saying buzzwords you heard on, like, Tucker Carlson. Democrats money laundering, Hunter Biden laptop. Like, you're just saying shit. Without any, like... It's like you think words don't have meanings, but they're spells that you cast. No, they're supposed to communicate ideas, and you're not communicating an idea. Rogan, thanks for 7 months, says 8 union workers in a Wendy's. MH Sharkbee says, sure, put food on the table, but what about...
You're working hard to put food on your family.
And then, fun fact, kids, he vomited on the Japanese prime minister.
To Ukraine, to arm the Taliban.
I'm sorry, did you just say Ukraine is arming the Taliban? What?
To arm Zelensky, the pedophile.
Oh, this is going full propaganda. Wow, wow, wow. Finnikagami says, I think these people don't understand collectives. It's funny, because they're in one. Just a really shitty, hateful one.
Human trafficker. To fund fake proxy wars.
That was not Bush 1.
You're working hard to put food on your family.
That was Bush 2, and Bush 2 vomited too, right? Wait, was it just Bush Sr.? Why did I think Bush Jr. vomited? You're right, that is Bush Sr. that vomited on the Japanese Prime Minister. George W. Bush got a shoe thrown at him.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Republicans are shitty too. I got away from the Republican Party, that's why I'm libertarian.
Oh boy, I wonder who you vote for in every election. This is so funny. Because, like, I don't know if I'd describe myself as a Democrat, but I also wouldn't say I've moved away from them, because obviously, in lieu of other options, they're who I vote for. So it'd be reasonable for you to say, like, oh, are you a Democrat? Not really, but I always vote for them because they're the closest. I don't identify as part of the political party, but they're the closest reasonable, like, thing I can vote for that wouldn't be throwing away a vote on a third party. It's so funny to me that he's like, I'm a libertarian now. Okay, who you voting for? Probably all Republicans, right? So you didn't really become a Republican. You're just embarrassed to call yourself one. This guy buys all the propaganda at wholesale.
Don't get me wrong. That's my thoughts about this UAW strike. First time in like 50 years that all the big three is striking at the same time.
Good. Flex those union powers. I think rich assholes need a reminder that unions are a peaceful way of dealing with conflict. Unions are a way to negotiate. Not allowing negotiation isn't good and didn't go well for robber barons back in the day. Just for the record, the unions are the alternative that's positive for you, for everyone.
So Trump's supposed to come in next week to, I don't know what he's doing. They said he's going to go into a Ford plant to the picket line. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Donald Trump's coming in next week, allegedly, to a Ford plant. The only Ford plant I can think of is in Wayne. No, they got one in Detroit, don't they? No, that's Daimler Chrysler. I think they got a Ford plant in Detroit. I do know they got a Chrysler plant because this girl I used to bang in high school.
Ew. Like, there's no reason in that story that he needs to say that. Like, what a disgusting personality. I understand people have relationships in high school and physical stuff maybe happens, but maybe you don't talk about a teenager in the past tense like this. Maybe just be like, hey, there's a girl I used to know in high school. You can tell the story without being gross. It feels like you're trying to humble brag about a hookup you had in high school like 20 years ago. And it's gross.
Her dad was like a foreman at one of the plants down there in Detroit. I think it was the Hamtramck plant in Chrysler. Well, this girl that I was, this girl I used to bang her pussy in high school.
Oh, he made it worse! He made it worse! He made it worse! What the fuck? It's like from the future. It's like from the past. He heard my future complaints and made it worse to spite me. This is a fucking child he's talking about. He was that age too, but like he's talking about a child. A fucking teenage girl. What are you doing?
Father was a foreman at the Chrysler plant in Hamtramck. So I know they got one in Hamtramck.
He said that because he didn't want you to know it was his sister. I think his sister could do better.
I don't know. Now they want to bring in the electric shit. That's another thing.
Oh, is he upset about electric cars even though everything's moving to electric and it's literally just where the industry is going? You're mad about it?
They want 40% pay raise and they want a 4-day work week and they want 32 hours.
Sweet.
Like, what the fuck?
32 hours is a 4-day work week. It's minus 8 days from 40. Math.
I work like 70, 80, 90 hours.
This is the funniest fucking thing when I see this. These people want better working conditions. Well, my working conditions suck ass and I take it up the ass. So why do these people get to have better working conditions? Have you considered that if you were in a union, Rob, you wouldn't have these problems, and you also could be paid fairly and not be overworked? You're literally illustrating exactly why unions are good. You're getting taken advantage of, you fucking idiot. Instead of saying, oh, those people are doing better than me, they should do worse. Maybe you should think that you deserve better. Maybe you should be in a union. Maybe you deserve that too. I think you're an asshole. But have you considered, instead of pulling other people down, you should go, wow, they're doing well. We could do that. Why aren't we treated like that? Because clearly they can. They're just not, because you're not making them. Because you're not collectively bargaining. You are literally suffering from lack of unionization and blaming unions for it that you're not a part of.
Hours a week, and I work for myself, and I bring home anywhere from $1,000 to $1,800 a week.
That's not that much for how much you're working. Let me think. I make more money than you, and I work way less. Just putting it out there. The idea that, like, he feels like unions are bad, you are getting taken advantage of, Rob. You are getting taken advantage of, and a union could help you, but you despise the idea because of propaganda, so you're going to continue to suffer. You're going to continue to suffer, and then eventually it might get to the point where actually self-driving cars become a thing in 20 years, maybe, I don't know. But if they do, you're fucked. Because what are you going to do then?
Okay. I bust my ass. I work, and I don't bitch about it.
You're literally bitching about it right now. Maybe you should bitch about it. Have you considered that you and fellow truck drivers should get together and collectively bitch about it so you get better working conditions and pay?
I get paid by contract. I'm a contract worker.
He did say he works 80 hours a week and makes $1,000 to $1,800 a week. That's abysmal for 80 hours a week. Auntie Pretzel says, a rich dude fought so the work week could be 40 hours max before time and a half pay. So we're good to have days off with family. Unions are trying to improve on that. What we need now is better pay for work time we do put in. Agreed. Terradona says, Rob, you could split the hours you currently work with someone just hired off the street, and you both make more than enough to thrive. Unions can do that, you ass.
Guess what? If I don't have any customers, I don't get fucking paid.
Okay, you're an independent contractor. Don't be an independent contractor then. Like, guilds are also a thing. Sky Comet, let's see, he says, we can have unions or eat the rich. Which would you prefer, sir? Peaceful collective bargaining or things I can't say on Twitch? Rob, the people you're talking about aren't independent contractors. They're employees. And frankly, the amount that companies have abused the independent contractor designation in the past decade and a half for this gig economy shit pisses me off. Let's see. Were there bits? Just Dark. Was there bits from you? No, I don't think so.
That's how contract work works.
Okay, the people in the UAW aren't on contract work. They're not contractors, they're employees.
If you're in that field, going to people's houses and doing contract work. No customers?
Okay, that's not the field they're in, so why are you talking about it? I'm sorry you don't like the job you chose for your life, but that doesn't mean other people don't deserve better than the bad choice you made. Cidosaurus says, I found out the new hires at my job are making $22 an hour after training, and I've been there for 8 years with more responsibility, and I'm making 24. Wish I had a union. Fucking bullshit. You'd bring it up.
No pay. No pay? I don't get laid.
I'm kind of feeling like that's probably not the primary concern in that particular regard.
Simple as that!
At least your company's fucking you.
I mean, these motherfuckers want... You wonder why a damn vehicle costs $70,000 brand new.
It would depend on the vehicle. Paladin's Fury with 100 bits says, the trucking company with the strongest union, YRC, recently went into Chapter 11 after the CEO ran it into the ground. Curious that. They do not like unions.
I mean...
17% to level 1 on the hype train. Hype train.
And then they want to bring in the electric shit.
Yes. Electric cars are rad, actually. Have you driven in one? Terradona, thanks for gifting 2 Tier 1 subs.
Well, when your governor's...
It's not just gig economy. WWE infamously lists wrestlers as independent contractors to explain why they don't give them health insurance. Oh, I know. It's disgusting. Vince McMahon is one of the worst human beings that has existed in the 20th century. Raja, thanks for 23 months. 95% to level 1.
There's a fucking tyrant selling out to the
tyrant
Chinese. What do you expect?
Maybe people like electric cars, Rob. I do. My wife does. Like, people like electric cars. Sorry, you don't? Don't care? Unstable Deadbeat, thanks for gifting a sub.
Our governor...
It's funny that he's acting like a electric car is like $70,000 too. Even the lowest tier Tesla's like under 30 now. I think it's like 28,000. And I don't like Teslas, but I'm just saying. They're also like Chevy Bolts. Chevy has some other electric offerings now. Like, the market is not just $70,000 cars, and I understand that most people don't buy new cars. I've never bought a new car in my entire life. It's always been used. So right now, yeah, people can't afford new cars, but over the next decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, those same new electric cars will find their way into the used market, where they'll be bought for far cheaper, because that's always how the car market works, is there is a huge used car market, and most people's cars are used. Unstable Deadbeat, thanks for gifting a sub. Paladin's Fury with 18 months. That sub baby's name is going to be Damocles Swordman. Damocles Swordman.
Is selling out to the Chinese.
36% to level 2. Rob's fine with labor getting fucked by capital as long as it's American white capital. It just can't be foreign Chinese capital. What an asshole.
All the conservatives and the patriots are leaving this fucking state. I can't blame them.
Fuck off, please.
And
get out of here, Rob. I don't want you in the state that I live in.
She's inviting all the rainbow fairies in.
I was born here, Rob. I was born here, baby.
Come to Michigan. You're safe here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of this shit.
Oh, you're gonna get so much sicker. You're not even 40 yet, Rob. You have so many years and so many changes in society to get mad about. You can't drop yet. Minty Treasure says, now they're trying to replace all of our horses with these damn Ford automobiles. The electric cars build now are crazy compared to Baja's. Such good range. You got yours used in 2019. It was a 2017 and you love your car. It's a great car. It really is.
Our state is...
Go to Florida. Rob, go move to Florida.
Coming. California and New York, worse.
You're right. I'm sorry. He is 40. You said he was turning 41. You're only 41, Rob. There's a lot of life left.
I'm looking at New Hampshire. Live free or die.
Did he say New Hamster?
Live free or die. I'm looking at New Hampshire. Live free or die.
Make sure you get a second New Hamster, because they're social creatures and need another hamster to be around. Man, I hope he doesn't have to test or pass a reading test to get in. Just awkward silence. That's
Anyway,
it.
like I said, my opinion is my thoughts, and that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out.
And you sound really dumb. Thanks for the content. 38% to level 2 on the hype train with a minute left. There's a minute.
The left-wing lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear-mongering about...
Didn't you learn your lesson the last time when you called COVID fake and then it was all real and then you did a terrible job? You're doing the same thing. There was an increase in COVID cases. I just fucking had it. It's a nightmare.
At the new
COVID isn't fun. Fun fact.
Variants that are coming. Gee whiz, you know what else is coming? An election. They want to restart the COVID hysteria so they can justify more lockdowns, more censorship, more...
Or have you considered maybe the disease is making a big comeback and people don't want people to get sick because the economy can't function if everyone is at home vomiting. Anyway, that was just an intro to another Rob video. You're welcome.
What's going on, everybody? Get the Raging Rob here. My opinions and my thoughts on my own. And that's that. That's all I have to say about that. I don't really consider myself a Republican. I consider myself more libertarian. Republican, Democrat, two wings on the same bird, if you ask me.
Wow, it's almost like you're really stupid and don't really know anything about politics.
Here's the problem with a lot of Republicans. We gotta fight the other side. Here's a problem with our Democrats. We gotta fight the other side. I don't see sides. I see myself. I have my side, and I see people. That's the way.
Milk catastrophe, welcome.
It is. Sheep at the bottom, and the global elites on top. And,
oh god, he did the sheeple thing.
And the politicians on top.
Kippy says the L word. Quick, Rob, tell us about the age of consent. Oh god.
The CEOs up top pulling the strings. We're down here dancing.
I don't even want to know. He just talked about inappropriate shit in the last video. I don't know what gross stuff he's got going on.
Whether you're a Republican, independent, libertarian, conservative, centrist, fucking...
What is a conservative centrist? What the fuck would that even mean?
Progressive.
I don't want to kill gay people, but I am against a capital gains tax.
Republican, Democrat, whatever the hell you identify as. Whatever skin color, whatever gender, whatever religion, whatever.
It's so funny that he says that and then he's super homophobic. Like, he clearly cares. He's constantly complaining about, like, queer people. What?
With that being said, I don't really consider myself a Trump supporter. I used to, but I don't worship the guy. Do I believe he can save America? Perhaps.
Perhaps.
But Jesus will save the world.
Mm-hmm.
Will save the sinners. He did that.
I've never actually heard this spiel before. Please, I've never heard of Christianity or Jesus. Please go on. This is a new concept for me. This isn't a narrative that's pushed constantly.
That when he died on a cross and shed his blood. Trump is not to be worshipped like a god.
Jesus didn't do shit about hundreds of years of slavery. He's not doing shit about the fact that you don't understand vaccines.
That's why I kind of broke off in the MAGA cult. It is a cult. MAGA is a cult. You know, some of these people treat Trump like a god. You know, he's not God. But I do believe that 2024 is our last chance to take our country back against the cabal.
There's no cabal. You're listening to conspiracy theories, Rob. None of that's real.
I believe these people on top are running scared. They're trying to pull every tactic they can not to get Trump into office.
I think he's doing a pretty good job of that on his own.
Using even the 14th Amendment. Gavin Newsom doesn't want to, is trying to pull a stunt to have him removed from the ballot in California.
Yeah, I'm
the
doubting
Secretary
that's
of
gonna
State
go
in New Hampshire.
I don't think that's... Oh, we did the New Hampshire thing again. No, I don't think that's going to work.
Is trying to get him removed from the ballot in New Hampshire. Even the governor of New Hampshire. Hey, New Hampshire, live free or die, right? Their governor is not as Republican or libertarian as you think. I can't remember the guy's name, Chris Sue or whatever his damn name. I can't remember his damn name. He's got some weird name. Sulu or Sue or whatever. Anyway. Let's talk about lockdowns. Let's talk about mask mandates and whatever, vaccine mandates, whatever. Trump said.
Literally, vaccine mandates, like, didn't happen for the general public ever. So what the fuck are you even talking about? No one locked down. What are you talking about?
When I become president, and he will become president again.
Not necessarily.
Any company, any school, any
the whole ass election we're gonna have about it.
Jurisdiction, any state, whatever, that imposes a mask or vaccine mandate will lose federal funding. Finally, we got a president that, you know, somebody is going to be president again to say it. I had a friend a couple days on Facebook.
You can become president if you're in prison. There's no law or anything that says you can't become president if you're in prison.
If your candidate isn't saying fuck the New World Order and fuck the cabal.
Man, it's almost like those things aren't real and are conspiracy theory things. Please, touch reality for 5 seconds.
You shouldn't vote for him. Well, that's basically what he did. Donald Trump, there alone, just secured my vote for him in 2024.
That's pretty pathetic. Really? Alright.
I was thinking about not voting for him again. I thought, you know what, I don't know. I'm not sure. I like some other candidates. I like Ron DeSantis. I like this guy. I like this guy.
He's gonna lose his shit if Trump loses again. In 2024, if Trump loses again, which, fuck, I hope he does. If he loses and he's the candidate or running third party, any situation where he's in the running and he's doesn't win, oh my god, so many people are gonna freak out. Can you imagine the MAGA cope? That'd be so funny. It'll be funny, but I imagine it'll also be sad because there probably will be lone wolf people who hurt others, but they're gonna be pissed.
You know, Donald Trump did pass gun control. You know, he did pass gun control after the last Las Vegas shooting, 2017, bump stock ban. You know, he did fund Planned Parenthood 2018 with the anonymous spending bill. Okay? And Ron DeSantis did move immigrants around the country, busing them around to Democratic cities.
Was he trying to say omnibus? I'm sorry, I was trying to figure out the word, and I think he was trying to say omnibus, but he was so off.
Greg Abbott did the same thing. So there's certain things that said, hey, you know what, I'm not sure about Trump.
You're afraid they'll do a January 6th again? I'm gonna assume they'll have better security next January 6th. Or, you know, January 6th of 2025.
When has Trump ever talked to, you know, bad about the vaccine and the vaccine mandates? Well,
was watching Stream VOD from a while back, and my predictions for 2024 were pretty bleak. What are my feelings about it now? Better, actually. Quite a bit better. I think Trump has not been doing himself any favors. I honestly think it's not as dire as I was when I was doomy. I think we're probably okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna hammer this point home. All of us need to vote and more. But, you know, January 8th, is it the 8th, the next election? Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was a specific date or if it was written like the first Tuesday in January or something, or the second. I don't know. I don't know the wording.
We finally did. So, come hell or high water, I'm voting for Trump in 2024.
Okay, cool. Have fun.
That's it. That's my final decision.
Me and my audience are gonna vote the other way. So we're gonna cancel out your vote a lot. Especially the people who are in Michigan. So, suck it.
And a lot of my friends ain't gonna agree with it. That's fine.
Wait, you have friends? I don't know if I believe that. That's a little sus. That's the least believable conspiracy theory in this video.
But I will say this. I don't know the whole gist of it. There's been a lot of talk on social media.
It's been a lot of talk, guys. A lot of people on Facebook are saying...
hard proof of it. I don't believe everything I see on the internet. Like a lot of leftists.
Seems like you do. Seems like you do as long as it follows your particular weird conspiracy ideology.
Believe I do. You know, I don't believe everything I'm told. I don't listen to my government. I'm ungovernable. I've been ungovernable since 2020 when I told the government.
You're wearing a seatbelt. The government tells you to do that. Why are you wearing a seatbelt, Rob?
Go fuck yourself.
You're wearing sunglasses, Rob. Why? Did the government tell you the sun's bad for your eyes? You believe all these goddamn big government optometrists? You fool.
I didn't comply the first time. What makes you think I'm gonna comply again?
Okay, good luck with that.
If this
Rob, I don't know if you'll watch this video. You subscribe to me, so I know that you follow my channel. So if you watch this, hey Rob, how's it going? I think that's a bad idea. I'm just getting over COVID, and it was a nightmare, and I'm vaccinated and boosted. If you catch COVID without being vaccinated, you will not have a good time. So you're gonna do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you, as another person from Michigan, I wouldn't recommend it. But I wish you the best of luck playing Russian roulette. Good luck with that, bud.
This whole thing, there's been talks about on
Sky Comet, thanks for gifting us up.
Social media, the mandates, COVID, and all this crap is coming back. The lockdowns.
What are you talking about? Literally in some areas, non-necessary businesses weren't open for some periods of time. We're talking sit-down restaurants, barber shops, you know? We're not talking about grocery stores. We're not talking about things that you need. And even then, it barely fucking happened, and a bunch of people didn't listen anyway, and everything got pushed on longer and longer, and you guys continue to make things worse. This could be so much more under control, and we probably wouldn't be having the surge we're having if people like you listened and got vaccinated, or at least were a little conscious of your habits. I also don't believe you guys wash your hands. That's just a theory. That's just a total hypothesis. But I bet you statistically Republicans are less likely to wash their hands after they use the bathroom. I have no concrete evidence for this. It's a vibe-based conspiracy.
I was told it's going to be a lot worse. Do I believe it? I don't know what to believe.
Sky Comet says, combo of unvaxxed and always mad. He's going to die of a heart attack from hypertension and COVID-induced heart attack. He should take care of himself. Like, get vaccinated, people.
Honestly. I'm not a QAnon conspiracy theorist.
Wow.
Okay, if it's true, I want to look at the facts. I want to see the facts. I want to see the evidence. As far as right now, it's just blowing smoke on social media. I haven't seen any hard evidence that this shit's coming back. However, there was a school district in Texas that brought
COVID causes blood clots. Indeed, it can.
A mass mandate back, and social distancing, and all that shit.
I don't want you in my personal space anyway, Rob. You just generally skeeve me out. Please stay at least 10 feet away from me.
There's a college down in Georgia.
In fact, if you get COVID, your COVID can stand within 6 feet. You get 10.
I did the same thing. So it's got little signs, but I've not seen anything hardcore to prove that this is actually going to happen again. Because I've heard this before. It was a couple of years ago. Oh, by October, we're going to be full lockdowns again. That didn't happen.
Man, it's almost like the right is constantly trying to piss you guys off because it's all they have, because they don't have actual concrete policy decisions that would improve your lives. So the only way they can get you to go vote and be motivated to give a shit about them is by telling you that your life sucks because of poor people or queer people. Look over there, look over there. We're not stealing from you. We're not taking all the money that you deserve. We're not fucking up all public services and turning them into private businesses so that our friends can make money. It's those queer people. They're going after your children. God, he's so easily manipulated.
So, I don't know what to believe, but there's been mass hysteria about it on social media, that the lockdowns are coming again. I don't know if it's true or not. St. Petersburg, Florida just passed a resolution.
It's so interesting to me how this is so partisan. In 30 years, I am going to be interested to look at, like, long-term studies on partisanship and either population or long COVID. Because obviously, everyone knows that at least in the United States, it is elsewhere too, but it's bad in the United States, there's like this weird partisan party line thing where Republicans are, for whatever reason, anti-vax, anti-science stuff has become a huge part of their rhetoric. Not trusting science and, you know, all sorts of stuff that scares them. So obviously they're having worse outcomes, health-wise, from COVID. They don't take it seriously, they don't get vaccinated, they don't understand how masks work or why they're important. Hydrate. So obviously COVID, and we've already seen some short-term studies about this, where COVID has impacted conservative rural communities harder long-term, and I mean long-term compared to, like, the initial impact was worse in cities because of the proximity of people in cities, but then as time went on, cities became vaccinated, and people in cities statistically are going to be more left-leaning, more educated, maybe have higher-paying jobs. I don't know, there's a whole variety of, like, correlative, not causative reasons you could discuss this. But anyway, people in more blue areas got vaccinated and took precautions, and people in red areas, whether they were rural or whatever, suburban, didn't, at least not at the same numbers. So you see more COVID cases, more deaths, more long COVID in statistically more Republican areas. Is this going to have any amount of impact on elections for the next 20 years? Because I do wonder if it has in any way, even by like 0.5%, has it hastened demographic change in politics? I'm not specifically necessarily talking about any groups in terms of, like, you know, racial minority groups or whatever. I'm talking about specifically there just being fewer Republican voters because they're dead, because they made bad decisions. Like, that's interesting to me. I wonder if it's made any impact, especially in areas where the margins are tight. Not to mention Gen Z. Oh my god, Gen Z. For every John Doyle or Nick Fuentes, there's about 10,000 Gen Z people who hate Republicans, are fiercely queer or allies, and are so sick of Republicans and neo-lib shit. Like, the next 20, 30 years of politics are going to be interesting. And I know that's a vacuous statement. You could say that about virtually any period in history in any country. Oh, this 30 years is going to be interesting. No shit, it's politics. But I do wonder, it feels like Gen Z, even compared to me, has a much more open, anarchist, left-leaning, like, leftist view of the world. And I am curious how that cultural shift is going to impact our government, society. I think it'll be good, obviously. I just think it's going to be a really, really rough transitory period of politics. Hats off, Wind Chanter. What would you like me to wear for the hats off?
They're going to become the 26th city to be a smart city, so things are happening. Allegedly, Columbus, Ohio was building gates around their freeways.
Oh my god.
Columbus, Ohio.
No, they're not. You fucking idiots. Republicans have fallen too for this other conspiracy. Again, they're literally getting propaganda made to them by big companies and rich people to scare them against left-leaning policies. So, you know, the idea of walkable cities, you know, like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to, like, drive your car everywhere and you could, in your neighborhood, have, like, you know, a little market and, you know, a restaurant or something. You know, things that you need to go to. This isn't saying you can never drive. It is saying that wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to? Now, there are conspiracy theorists who have been convinced by idiot astroturfing campaigns that walkable cities are a secret plot to turn America into a prison where no one can leave outside of 15 minutes of their house. It's legitimately the clearest astroturfing I have ever seen on an issue. It's so quick. People were talking about walkable cities, and then boom, everywhere. Posted all over Rumble and BitChute, and the normal conspiracy places is the same copy-paste video with the same talking points about this 15-minute cities bullshit. It's so stupid. It's so stupid only Republicans could believe it. It's so funny if it wasn't so sad, and how easy it is for them to be manipulated to hurt themselves. Funny you should mention political party and COVID's impact. They did a study recently. Republicans' excess death rate spiked after COVID-19 vaccines arrived, a study says. Wait a minute, are you telling me that telling your constituents not to get a life-saving potential vaccine is a bad idea for your demographics? Holy shit. The pandemic inflicted higher rates of excess deaths on both Republicans and Democrats, but after COVID-19 vaccines arrived, Republican voters in Florida and Ohio died at a higher rate than their counterparts, according to a new study. Researchers from Yale University who studied the pandemic's effects on these two states say that from the pandemic's start in March 2020 through December 2021, quote, excess mortality was significantly higher for Republican voters than Democratic voters after COVID-19 vaccines were available to all adults, but not before. More specifically, the researchers say their adjusted analysis found that the excess death rate amongst Republican voters was 43% higher than the excess death rate among Democratic voters. Like, that's not nothing. Like, that's a decent amount. That's like 1.4 times higher. Like, really? That's not good. That's not good for your demographics. It's just so funny to me.
Somebody said it was hurricane control. It must be
hurricane control. Oh, good. He thinks weather control is a thing.
Hard being that really fucking stupid. Hurricanes don't exist in Ohio. So
I don't feel bad. I frequent the Herman Cain Awards subreddit. If you're just a victim of propaganda, bummer. But these people are the kind of people who go everywhere and rant about it and yell like, I wouldn't get a vaccine, like they're idiots and spread idiocy and conspiracy theory everywhere. I don't feel bad when they fuck around and find out. I just don't. I feel so bad for anyone who's vulnerable and can't get vaccinated for whatever reason, but people who willfully not only don't get it but hate it and are suspicious of it and actively try and get people not to and spread lies, no, fuck them.
Things are happening, the deep state's getting scared, and Trump even said, if the lockdowns come back, so Trump probably knows something that we don't. So anyway, I'm Raging Rob. I'm on my way to work in Lansing. I'm going to Lansing. Got to go to work. That's where I work. So, put in the comment section below.
I thought you said you were a contractor and you drive all over the country, Rob. Do you work in Lansing?
Whatever. Maybe I'll see your comment. Maybe I don't. Do you think the lockdown's coming back? Follow me on TikTok, Kinnison Robert 7 or whatever the hell it is. It's up there in my video. I'll post it. I'll post the Trump thing. Statement what he said. I'll edit this video later when I get home or whatever and post it, and I'll put the Trump video in there, then I'll do my talking. Anyway, do I think the lockdowns are coming? I don't know. I think something's coming big. I think something big is coming, and the deep state's really going to get scared, and there's going to be mass non-compliance, whatever the hell it is. Maybe not lockdowns, maybe not mandates, but something's going to happen. And a lot of people are going to wake up like we've never seen before. We might have another summer of love where a black person gets shot by the police and riots.
Oh, boy.
It's in riots again. I don't know, like 2020. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but...
You'd hope no one gets shot by the police or killed by the police unnecessarily, huh? Fenekagami says the sad thing is their greater death toll is just going to feed the conspiracy because their egos can't handle the consequences of their own actions. Well, throwing fault.
Keep in mind, the 2024 elections is around the corner. We're just over a year away. If you don't think that the deep state's going to try something...
Oh my god, it's America. It's always election season. It's always either almost the presidential election or almost the midterms. It's all the fucking time. Our election cycles are so long, it's like our national pastime. Fuck off. Y'all act like nothing can ever happen because it's always, quote, close to election season. Over a year away. Really?
You need to get the
fucking moron.
Fuck out of your fucking igloo. Okay? Or your cave, and wake the fuck up. You know damn well they're gonna try something. And the timing is perfect for lockdowns. So,
Do I think Rob represents more or less than 50% of Republican voters mentally? I think about 50-50 is probably fair. I think he's about average.
somebody said mid-September, somebody said beginning of October. I don't know. Like I said, right now it's just blowing smoke on social media. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. You know? So, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, right? Anyway,
God, he's so dumb and doesn't even know it. Oh, that's just a bullshit conspiracy thing.
Don't mind the bedhead, folks. I just learned something new. Primitive arrow making. In order for the arrow to fly true, you know, it doesn't matter which wing you use. It could be the left wing. It could be the right wing. Well, whichever wing you do choose has to be from the same side for the same arrow. If you want that arrow to fly true, all the feathers from that arrow must be from A, the right wing, or B, the left wing.
Oh god, I feel like this is gonna get so gross.
And it will fly true.
He's discussing uniformity and its necessity, so I'm feeling like this is gonna get really fashy and like we need everyone to be in line and acting similarly.
They have to be from the same side. But the target is always going to be the same thing. So let's say the target is the original United States Constitution before it was perverted.
Before it was perverted. Oh no, sir. Which amendments do you take offense to? Oh god. Oh, is this just literally a neo-Nazi? Is he gonna just be straight up anti-13th Amendment? Gitara says false. You only need to get feathers from one wing for fetching arrows, sir. Your analogy is garbage.
The government. In other words, before it was tampered with and changed.
Tampered with and changed. Okay, so the Bill of Rights, which were put with the original version of the Constitution, are amendments. They did the Bill of Rights as amendments specifically to show the amendment process and how it works, and to normalize the idea of this, okay?
And, you know, because that's when we actually still had true freedom, is when we had the original Constitution.
What do you mean, original Constitution? You're talking 1789, including Bill of Rights or without the Bill of Rights?
It's been being perverted for well over 100 years, 150 years. But my point being is that the target is the United States Constitution in its original format that allows us the freedoms before.
150 years ago is roughly the time of the Civil War. Just for reference, you know, after which the 13th Amendment was passed, or near the end of, whatever.
We were split into two parties, and in other words, the target had always been the Constitution. And
what the fuck are you talking about? This guy is totally pro-slavery, isn't he?
When it was split into the two parties, you got everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants the freedom to have whatever religion they want, serve whatever God they want.
You understand that even when George Washington was in office, there were already political parties. Like, he wasn't a fan of them, but they already existed. The Federalists and the Democratic Republicans. It might not have been official as it is these days with, you know, the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee, but parties existed. Like, George Washington, I believe, when he was younger, was a member of the Whig Party, which isn't even a party that exists in the United States. Because he, you know, he was from the old world.
Everybody wants the freedom.
Or at the very least had opinions about UK politics, I should say.
To be able to defend their life, their family, and their property. Everybody wants the freedom to be able to choose in general. And to be a landowner, to not have to pay taxes.
Literally, the original Constitution explains that the government has the power to levy taxes. The Constitution does not say the government can't do taxes. It very much says they can.
And things of that nature. And with that being said, here's the deal. If you take an arrow and put 2 flight feathers out of the 3, it could be from either the left or right.
That's annoying.
And then you end up putting that 3rd feather from the opposite end. Your arrow is not going to fly true.
Thanks,
so
Tiana
it's always
Chan.
going to be off course. It's always going to miss the target. And ever since they created a division in this country to where we have
Who's
a
they?
two-party system.
Again, we had a 2-party system early on, too. It's an accidental result of our first past-the-post voting system. It requires people to basically create 2 camps to fight against each other because of the Electoral College.
Our arrow has been off target ever since. Everybody can be on course. You might have 1 feather from one side and 2 from the other. And either way, it's going to be off course unless it's all from one side. And I'm not saying left is right, I'm not saying right is right.
When he says original Constitution, is he referring to the Articles of Confederation? I really don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm confused. I don't know if he means the Articles of Confederation, if he means the 1789 Constitution minus the Bill of Rights, which is weird because it came with the Bill of Rights. I don't know what he's specifically referring to.
Of course, now it's kind of gotten extreme, you know, but
what's on the choker? It's so cute. Baja got it for me. Hold on. It's like slasher weapons. I think it's cute.
it's all been well over 100-year process to get us to this point, to where everything's so extreme. Because in reality, we all want the freedom to choose, the freedom to do what we need to do, and not have to answer to any government at all.
This is so vague. Answer to no government at all? What constitution do you think says that?
They're supposed to be the ones, according to our original target, that answers to us. And they haven't feared us for a long, long time. And my point being beyond all that is just think about that. If we want our country...
What's he talking around? I assume Lost Cause, Southern Confederacy bullshit?
To be strong, to be a superpower. And we want the freedoms while we're living in this country to truly be free. We all have to pick an arrow from the same side of the bird. It doesn't have to be right or left wing, because it's literally the same bird that the arrows come from. You can make 10 arrows from one from one side, from one wing, and you can make 10 arrows from the other wing, and they're all gonna fly true. You just can't mix up 2 feathers from the right side and 1 from the left, or 2 from the left.
You're literally spending like 5 minutes to just say ideological division. Just say that. This metaphor sucks. It's not even a good metaphor.
The side and 1 from the right.
Or simile. I don't know if he said like.
And considering that we all have the same target, then
well, that's the problem, isn't it? Not everyone does. Like, for instance, I just want to live my life and, you know, be okay and live with my wife and be happy and do my little internet show, collect my movies. Meanwhile, there are other people who, like, want me to die because I'm trans, or people who, like, want me to hide, you know? People aren't all pointing towards the same thing. There are people who want to hurt other people.
You know, we need to pick feathers from the right side or the left side.
Hydrate.
And I'm not talking about what y'all think about today with the extreme, crazy things they put out there to keep us divided. Because what everybody should be striving for in America is that target. That target.
What's the target? You can't just say the Constitution. The Constitution isn't one thing. Like, it's been amended. There are different interpretations of the Constitution. Like, judicial review is a thing. Interpretation of the Constitution is basically what we're doing. Like, there are things that are clear in the Constitution, and there are things that are not. And there's a lot of interpretation going on, so there's no objective view of the Constitution. It's a legal document that needs interpreting. Literally, you can't even argue against that. It's the entire purpose of judicial review and the Supreme Court. Not the entire reason. I know the Supreme Court existed long before judicial review. I'm just saying, in its current state, that is a huge part of its function.
Absolute freedom, where we the people have the power and the government fears us and listens to us and obeys us, not the other way around. And as long as they keep us thinking that we have to take something from one side and something from the other side because of this, because of that, then our arrows are always going to shoot off course. And anyway, so what I'm saying is the two-party system's all bullshit. It was
wow, he said nothing. This whole video he has said nothing.
Created just...
He thinks we went wrong before Marbury versus Madison. Yeah, not sure exactly how he thinks things are going to work then.
Vision so that they can maintain control. And they always throw in there, you know, something about ideologies or this, that. You can't be Christian and be left-wing.
Literally do whatever you want. Be a left-wing Christian. Awesome.
Okay, well the target's the same.
Anyone who's gatekeeping leftism, like, don't gatekeep progressive political ideology because someone happens to be religious. That's incredibly, like, obtuse and just stupid. Don't do that.
The target's the United States Constitution, which allows us the freedom to be Christian without persecution, which allows us also to be gay without persecution, or trans without persecution. And
so you're cool with that. That's shocking considering everything else you've said.
But they throw all these little things in there to hit people's emotions and to make people think it's got to be this way or they can't have that freedom, which is all wrong. Like I said, it's all...
Be specific. What specifically do you think is ridiculous?
Same bird that these flight feathers are coming from.
Is that gatekeeping leftism or gatekeeping Christianity? I don't know which this guy is doing. I just think it's something this community needs to hear. Don't demonize all religious people. I understand. You don't have to like religion. You can hate religion. If you start being an asshole to all religious people just because they're religious, you're the douchebag. You're the asshole. You're the asshole.
If we just all focus on the original Constitution, its original format, before it was perverted by the government, before the government stopped fearing us, and you know, it's that simple. We just need to keep our focus on the same target.
This is just so fucking vacuous. He said nothing. I'm not even gonna finish the video. He has said nothing in like 7 minutes. Gitara says, what bothers me is that guys like this will talk about unity and respecting each other and striving to have a government that is held accountable, but at the same time they'll defend politicians who blatantly break laws and vote for policies that oppress people who aren't white, cishet Christian men. Hell, they even vote for policies that do make life harder for their own group because it was pushed by someone who says fuck everyone who doesn't look and act like you. Yeah, it's fucked up.
You know what?
God damn, loud.
they've gone too far this time. This time, I'm angry. This time, you should be angry because our beloved series, our childhood anthology horror series, is getting a modern retelling, a reboot, and they decided to put Old Man Justin Long in it, and I am absolutely flabbergasted that they would dare do this, that it's not going to be a freaking what-you-call-it anthology, and they got rid.
Doot. This Chud's mad about Goosebumps. There's a new Goosebumps show coming out on Netflix. I don't know if it'll be any good. You guys know I like Goosebumps. For me, a lot of the value of Goosebumps, the fun part about it, is the 90s nostalgia for me and how it's very steeped in 90s. Don't know how well it works outside of that context. But the trailer, which I'm not going to play, for the new Goosebumps Netflix show, instead of an anthology, it looks like they're doing sort of a hybrid where there's a single cast of characters. They're kind of CWing it. Like, there's a group of kids in high school, and it seems like every episode they'll be coming across a different, like, Goosebumps thing. Like, the camera from Say Cheese and Die, Slappy, the dummy. Like, it seems like there's going to be individual episodes that sort of adapt concepts from Goosebumps books, but then there's also a season-long arc that, you know, is a thread through all the characters. I'd prefer it be anthology, but I'm not a child. I am 30. The show is not for me, so. Whatevs. Don't know if it'll be good or bad, but this guy's gonna bitch about stupid shit, I think.
Rid of the most famous, the most iconic song of a show of all time, except for X-Men and every other 90s theme song, because they were all great back in the day, and they're doing...
Or you were a child. Probably that one.
Doing a modern Goosebumps...
I get it, though. The Goosebumps thing is pretty good.
Goosebumps reboot. I'm going to break down this trailer frame by frame, and you're going to ask, no wait, demand that Disney Plus and Hulu give us better, do better, respect the amazing, horrible child acting that was so prominent in the original Goosebumps series, and fix this up. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who signed up over in Actual Justice.
Oh, his channel is Actual Justice Warrior. He's an anti-SJW.
Warrior.com.
Which is funny to say in 2023.
/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And thank you to the podcast listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google's podcasting platform.
Have we met?
Nathan Bratt, I'm the new English teacher.
Lame, fake, horrible.
Already? Jesus Christ. I don't even think that even I wouldn't nitpick that hard.
Not believable. I hate you, Justin Long. Old man Justin Long, talking about how you're the new English teacher. This has none of the heart, none of the soul of the original Goosebumps, which...
What? Like, I like the original Goosebumps, but that was a low production value Canadian show that got shit out. The original Goosebumps show is fun and corny and cheesy, but it's not good.
Was marked by horrific, terrible, and god-awful child acting, and honestly, you're disrespecting my childhood. You have stolen my childhood. You have stolen...
He complains about Adam Conover a lot. This guy comment says, high school sounds more like Fear Street, lesser known but pretty good. It's R.L. Stein's Goosebumps for teenagers. I loved Bad Dreams and 99 Fear Street, The House of Evil.
My dream?
Yeah, they adapted some Fear Street for Netflix, which is maybe why they're going this route with it.
You have stolen my dreams and my child.
Are they still using this fucking clip? Jesus Christ.
Here?
Yeah, the old Biddle House.
The Biddle House.
I did hear the horrible story about the boy who used to live there.
Spoiler alert, Justin Long is going to turn out to be the boy who used to live there, and he's going to be looking for revenge, because that's what you do if you're Justin Long and you were once the it person in all of Hollywood. You were once in a bunch of movies. Hollywood kept trying to sell you to all of us, and now...
I don't know anything about Justin Long's career recently, but this feels weirdly, like, harsh towards Justin Long. Like, I get it. You can not like the movie Tusk and not hate him.
You're on the Disney Plus Hulu original anthology series, which isn't even an anthology series for some reason.
Again, I think it just based on the trailer, it looks like a hybrid. Like, it's going to remain a singular cast of characters, but every week they'll be dealing with a different Goosebumps story, basically. It's just replacing the kids from the random Goosebumps book. It's not how I would have done it, but again, it's like a kid's show. I don't know. It's not made for me. Like, they did a Goosebumps movie with Jack Black some years ago that was pretty heavy on nostalgia bait. And I like that movie. It's cute. It's a cute little fun Halloween adventure kids movie. It's fine. This show doesn't seem as much of a, like, it's trying to drive home nostalgia as much as it's just trying to be a thing. And kids and teens will either watch it or they won't. But I don't think it's made for my or his demographic. To me, the trailer doesn't feel like it's made for, you know, people who were fans of Goosebumps in the 90s as much as it is younger people, which is great. That's fine. Be an adult. Understand not everything is made for you. If you don't like it, cool. It's a kid's show.
And it's like a Netflix-style series that was once our great Goosebumps.
You know, I hear it's haunted.
If you just want more Goosebumps, go watch The Haunting Hour. The Haunting Hour is just Goosebumps, but made in the early 2000s. Mid-2000s. I don't know when Haunting Hour was out.
Have you seen anything strange happening there?
Say cheese! Okay, so real talk. That's a Say Cheese and Die reference, you know.
Yes, you know, like the Goosebumps book. I own it. It's around here somewhere.
You know, the haunted camera that
2010, thank you. Finigami says, hearing this guy's voice and not looking at first, I was certain this guy was Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. My god, these people are interchangeable.
By the way, I think they stole the premise from R.L. Stein's Say Cheese and Die for the movie Polaroid.
Oh, you fucking idiot. Say Cheese and Die is ripping off a Twilight Zone episode, which is based on a short story, A Most Unusual Camera. Are you fucking stupid? Why are you talking about this when you don't even know what you're talking about? A Most Unusual Camera is a famous episode of The Twilight Zone from the 1960s, decades before Goosebumps. And the premise was some criminals find a camera that works like it's the Say Cheese and Die camera. Goosebumps fundamentally, hold on. And it's funny that he's acting like he's such a big fan of Goosebumps. If he doesn't understand this simple fact, I really don't know what to say. So, okay. Let me explain something about Goosebumps if you don't know. The way that R.L. Stine wrote these books is, it's an introduction to horror for children, right? So they're not, like, intense, but what they do is introduce children to horror tropes, right? In any genre, there are going to be tropes, and those tropes show up. And genre-savvy readers or viewers, their understanding of these tropes can be important to the language of the film or book or movie, whatever it happens to be, or TV show. So it's basically, you know, my first horror genre fiction. So let's say, like this one, Say Cheese and Die, the one he's talking about. It's adapting a trope, the trope of the camera that can see the future. Goosebumps didn't invent that. Welcome to Dead House, Haunted House. Haunted Mask, arguably sort of a children's take on body horror, being consumed by something. It's a possession story. Welcome to Horrorland, creepy theme park. Night of the Living Dummy, Chucky, Talkie Tina, Megan. Literally, there's 2 separate, at minimum, Twilight Zone episodes with killer dummies. Like, Goosebumps are fun, and R.L. Stine is a cool guy who I respect a lot for, you know, bringing so many books to children and getting kids excited to read and stuff. He's great. But, like, he didn't come up with the original, like, the ideas are usually tropes. He's writing children's versions of adult horror that already exists. And it's weird that this guy doesn't seem to know that. Anyway.
And essentially the way it worked is...
The Twilight Zone episode of the Masks. That could also be a good inspiration for the Haunted Mask. It's a good episode.
That the camera would take a picture of you and you would be in some kind of physical distress, and then that would come to fruition. But they're opening it up, they're using it right for nostalgia in the beginning, even...
Do you think this is the first scene of the show? It's a trailer. It'll probably show up somewhere in the episode. And they'll have to deal with it being haunted. Like, I don't understand what you want. Do you think it's too different? Or do you think it's leaning on nostalgia? Because you're complaining about both back to back. Is it too different? Or are you mad that they're pulling out famous iconography from Goosebumps? Which is it?
Even though this is an iconic story of the 1990s, the Say Cheese and Dive camera looks so amazing, so stunning, so...
Does that look amazing? Does it? Also, that's Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling is in that Goosebumps episode. He's not in Say Cheese and Die 2. Apparently by that time they couldn't get Ryan Gosling back.
So beautiful in the original Goosebumps series that this...
No, this guy isn't a Poe.
It's just a pathetic iteration.
I gotta criticize the thing he's just said. You can have opinions, but this is a bad take on the camera. Like, what's creepy about, like, the trope of the haunted camera, or the camera that lets you see the future, is that it's an innocuous object. It's a seemingly normal object that has a weird, mysterious thing, right? So if it's just like a Polaroid, like it is in the actual book, I think, cool, right? It's just a creepy camera that you don't know where it came from. This looks like they're trying so hard to make it look like a monster. It's the opposite. It's working against the scariness or whatever. It makes it look like they're like, whoa, it's a camera for the 90s, man, whoa! You know? Looks like shit.
So beautiful in the original Goosebumps.
You think that looks beautiful? Come on. These chuds don't even believe this shit. He's just milking this for his idiot audience.
Series that this is just a pathetic iteration.
Happening there?
Say cheese!
That is not funny!
No. Not that I can think of.
Honestly, they ought to be ashamed of themselves over at Disney, over at Hulu. I remember Goosebumps was on Nickelodeon, so how they let this iconic IP go and be taken over by Justin Long,
Nickelodeon never owned Goosebumps, you fucking idiot. They had the right to air it sometimes, and Cartoon Network aired it during Octobers. You don't even know what you're talking about. Nickelodeon never owned the rights to Goosebumps. They had broadcasting rights, but they never owned the trademark or copyright. Scholastic owns Goosebumps. Like, why? He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, he's just rambling like an idiot.
I will never understand, because Goosebumps is all a part of our childhood. In fact, every single kid that I knew, besides my friend who...
Dr. Gamble says, Chud, I haven't been happy since I was 5.
For some reason...
Yeah, Nickelodeon had Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was a Canadian production.
Had a book series...
Just like Goosebumps.
Called Spooksville, I guess because his family was poor and they couldn't afford a real Goosebumps series, a real Goosebumps book, so he needed the knockoff. Was a Goosebumps fan. They were really into the Goosebumps. They watched the anthology series all the time. This is like taking all of the heart...
It really isn't. I'm also a fan of Goosebumps and I seem to know more about it than you, so shut the fuck up.
And soul out of Are You Afraid of the Dark, and they're doing it with this series. They're making it modern. They're making it...
Wait a minute, you're telling me they're making a modern TV show for modern audiences and aren't interested in the nostalgia of a 40-year-old man who complains about things on the internet? Wow, crazy.
Progressive. They're throwing the diversity on the camera.
What do you think that means? I'm sorry, do you think that only white people are in Goosebumps? Or that only white people can be in Goosebumps? I'm so confused. Fucking diversity. Do these people not see non-white people in real life? Like, do they think that black people are some mythical, like, group of people that don't exist and they never see them? So they're like, why is this always in TV? No! What are you talking about? Like, do you think only white people exist, you fucking idiot? Like, every time I go out of my house, if I'm going places, I see people of different genders, races, like, whatever, who cares? The fuck is wrong with you?
And we should all be ashamed. Quartering, where are you on this, bro? He's
probably in his basement pissing.
Go after every single reboot in existence. This is a reboot. I have not seen you touch it. Why are you...
Can't you read articles yourself and have specious opinions about them?
Island, are you getting the Hulu Disney Plus money? You tell me what's going on, Jeremy. You get in my DMs right now, buddy, and you...
Jeremy's a little fucked because the Rumble deal he has is in peril because Rumble is in peril, so I think he's a little busy.
You tell me what's happening.
Yeah, he gets like possessed.
I hate it. I hate everything about it.
What do you hate? What about it? Like what? Like I'm not gonna say like I'm thrilled. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, this looks great, I'm gonna watch it. I'll probably check it out, especially if the reviews are good. But like, why do you viscerally hate this? There's nothing hateable so far.
It's horrible. It's horrendous. It's shameful. It's disgusting. I don't need this.
What? It's shameful and disgusting. Where are these secondary emotions coming from? Like, what are you talking about? You're so intense about this.
Kind of crazy.
Have you considered being less emotional? Oh my god, you're hysterical.
Special effects. I want the $3 budget that the original Nickelodeon series had.
Man, it is a good thing this guy doesn't work for any production companies. He comes in, he goes, all right, the new children's Netflix show, I want to make it look like shit. And I want it to be written for white 40-year-old men. All right. Maps and Mimic says, gods, this is pathetic, and honestly, this show looks fine. The dude's just trying to pull an audience. Yeah, this is pathetic grifting. This is, like, obnoxious grifting, where I don't think he believes even an ounce of this. He just knows his audience is stupid.
Anything else is an abomination. It's an insult. You feel insulted right now.
Do you? Like, seriously, is this guy this obsessed and not understanding the idea that everything is made for him? Like, does he think there's something that is an objective quality, and it's whatever he likes, and anything that isn't that is bad? So weird.
You feel disgusted right now. You feel angry right now, and I am just the voice of your anger. I am the captain of this ship, so let us get aboard and try.
Here's the video. I know someone asked.
Travel back in time to an amazing time period, aka the 1990s, where they would just put terrible actors to do Goosebumps episodes, and they were never really.
Nostalgia is so weird. I like Goosebumps nostalgically. It's not good. Like, if I watched that, like, if I watched that as an adult for the first time, in fairness, I like corny stuff, so maybe I'd appreciate that. But, like, the fact that you have nostalgia for something does not make it good or as good as it was then now. Like, imagine if you were a fan of Atari, right? You were a big fan of Atari. Your Atari 2600, you just played the shit out of it, and you love it so much. And then you go to your kids, decades later, and you're like, kids, if you like Grand Theft Auto, you're gonna fucking love my Atari 2600 games, and you try and show them to them. Sure, maybe they're the same age as you, but they're not living in the same world. Like, something that's nostalgic for you, that you liked as a kid, doesn't automatically mean kids would like it now. Now, it doesn't automatically mean they'll hate it, but in the case of Goosebumps, no, I don't think you could put out the Goosebumps episodes we got in the 90s today and have it be successful. It's just weird. It's so weird. The inability to understand that things change, art changes, tastes change, industries change, life changes. You can't just be hooked up on nostalgia IVs 24/7 because you can't cope with change.
Do them justice in the original series, but I don't like this because it's new, and I hate things that are new, and I hate things that are different.
Some weird stuff
That's literally what you're doing, though? That's the only argument you've made so far.
has been happening.
So I just wanted to say,
Jitara says, I think the issue is that people like him grew up in the suburbs. When we were kids, there weren't a lot of non-white folks out there like there are now. I grew up in Detroit, and when I went to college out in the suburbs, the white kids there didn't know how to act around me because I was the first black person they actually knew personally. They knew nothing about our culture, or even really our history. I think it's a combination of isolation and ignorance. Another reason that inclusivity in media is so important. So that sheltered, white, random suburb kids are aware that non-white people exist. Oh, the bar is so low.
You guys might be hearing in this trailer what is allegedly referred to as music. But let's be honest, this ain't music. This modern pop culture song, whatever.
Modern pop culture song?
Has no place in Goosebumps. They had the greatest
theme
song of all time.
Like, I like the Goosebumps theme song too. Maybe it'll show up in the show. Maybe it won't. Does it matter?
Except for all the other 90s theme songs. And in that theme song, they actually had a dog at one point singing the theme song.
It barked. I think they didn't add that until the second or third season, but I remember it goes burp, 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 burp.
Let's play that clip.
It's the clip when in the logo when the dog gets the yellow eyes as the famous G logo goes over them.
For you, so you can understand it.
They added little bark effects. Rachology says, can't we all just stop wallowing in nostalgia and agree nothing's been good since the original Erie, Indiana was canceled before we found out what the deal with Dash was and we can just move on? What about Erie, Indiana, the next dimension? How do you feel about that? And are you shocked that I know what you're talking about?
I will never ever look at a dog the same way again after that dog was infected.
Again, like, yes, this is burned into my brain too. I also like you're just pointing out nostalgia. It's fine. Nostalgia can be fun as long as you know what it is. But you don't seem to know what it is. You think that nostalgia for something is actually an indicator of quality, and it is not.
Affected by the Goosebumps theme song, and any failure to actually acknowledge the greatness of that original song, any pop song.
Yeah, he's looking for random shit to bitch about. He gets to the 12-minute mark so he can put in mid-rolls. It's a grift.
It's just disrespect to the original lore, to the original mythology, to the legacy of R.L. Stine, who I don't even know if is dead or alive because
He's alive, and I'm pretty sure he would fucking hate you. R.L. Stine would not like you.
Haven't really thought about Goosebumps at all, and honestly, it's shameful. Seriously, linked in the description is the full version of that song. It is kind of badass, and this is just nonsensical.
Something's clearly wrong.
Why would you do that, man? That's not cool! There's no such thing as a curse, dude. That isn't real.
So obviously, you have this stupid kid right here.
Why is he stupid? I'm sorry, do you expect this person to think magic is real before they know that magic is real? That's literally part of horror, is like, oh, a fantastical thing happens that isn't supposed to happen because the characters more or less are supposed to be in a real world where this kind of thing doesn't happen. That's what magical realism is. Who's Your Friend says, if singing is this amazing to him, the Air Bud movies are gonna blow his mind.
Who is stupid kid number one, a look at his stupid face, and
yeah, look at this stupid kid that we know nothing about, but he's stupid because I'm an old man and the youths make me angry because it reminds me of my own looming mortality.
Takes a picture of this guy with the haunted freaking Polaroid camera, and then he says curses aren't real, but we all know that curses are real, so
wouldn't be a very interesting movie or show if they were all like, yep, we all know curses are real immediately. Like, do you know how movies and shows work? Like, imagine if in Child's Play, Andy was like, oh, a killer doll did it, and everyone was like, we agree immediately. We all believe that killer dolls exist even though we have no reason to believe magic exists. And then they just arrest the doll. And then we never got any sequels. That's the film series this man wants, is one where no one is shocked at plot twists or events that happen.
But this guy's a total jerk.
You know what's really scary? Is when kids aren't afraid at all of curses that are happening to them. And they're just like, yeah, it's a curse, whatever.
And he deserves all the punishment in the world because honestly, it's say cheese and die. Don't you know the camera? They even did the reference in the beginning of the trailer.
Do you think that these people are genre savvy of the book series that their show is based on? Like, do you think the Goosebumps books exist in the universe of this show? Because we have been given no indication of that. Like, I don't think the Goosebumps books and show exist in this universe, so there is no book for them to reference. What?
But this guy, just a total
It's funny, too, because, like, right-wingers tend to hate meta-narrative. Like, the movie did a meta-narrative, and I enjoyed it. I'm fine with meta-narratives. I think they can be done really well. Barbie, good meta-narrative. But it feels like he's asking for meta-narrative here, but the right usually hates it, because meta-narrative involves actually discussing and dissecting pieces of fiction or art. And they're really bad and don't like that, because they don't have media literacy and don't realize the things they like hate them.
Jerk, just a total monster, total loser, takes picture of our main character who kind of looks like the guy from Scream that they put in there, but he kind of looks a little smaller. Whatever, Disney Plus found their actor, and it's just disrespectful to the lore.
Disrespectful to the Goosebumps? It's Goosebumps. What the fuck? Disrespectful to the Goosebumps lore? Go read Slappy's Nightmare.
The idea that this scumbag right here would be able to wield the iconic Say Cheese and Die camera.
The iconic Say Cheese, like it's the fucking One Ring, like it's a lightsaber, like it's Luke's light, like it's not. He wants it so badly to be this thing with this like epic lineage that people give a shit about. Even Goosebumps fans wouldn't really call it the iconic Say Cheese and Die camera. It's a fucking Polaroid camera. What?
Is just disrespect. I know a lot of you didn't like Star Wars The Last Jedi, but this is the true disrespect of all lore, of all literature, of all reboots right here for Disney Plus, and I'm definitely dead serious about it.
Are you okay?
God, please be joking. This guy is a real chud.
I'm sorry, but I don't get goosebumps from a little allergic kid. I don't know if you guys have ever been near a school in your entire life. I never had, but I heard that every single kid is allergic to peanuts, and you have kids dying every single day just because a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Are we doing this? Are we doing the boomer peanuts at school bit? When I was a kid, we didn't care about kids with allergies.
Is vaguely in their area. So this kid needing an EpiPen, don't need it. Don't require it. It's not about what I'm about, and I'm honestly against it. Also, they cut to this lady that's in an afro that's dressed like she's from the 1970s. I don't know if this is a flashback. I don't know if this is a flash forward. But what I do know for a fact is that evil white racism is definitely going to be in this part.
Guys, he's a real chud. Like, this isn't his only video. This is his whole goddamn channel. Like, his whole channel is chud shit. I understand. We all want to believe people this stupid and cynical don't exist. They do, I assure you.
If you don't think that they're gonna inject politics into our great hallowed tradition that is Goosebumps, you're dead wrong. You're dead.
What do you consider politics?
Dead failure. You're dead whatever. You probably don't care about this.
This is all connected. He's getting revenge.
Oh, that's the lady? Oh, he thinks people can't have afros in the 2020s. Jesus. There's a link to the video if anyone wants to prove to themselves I'm not making this up. This guy is a career chud. This is his job.
For what our parents did to him.
Okay, seriously, I wouldn't mind if they did a reboot of the Goosebumps series. Honestly, the original 90s series, not that good. But it doesn't have...
Okay, so you're aware.
...to be this generic. Does it have to...
You haven't even seen it. You don't know if it's generic, and I don't know. It's fucking Goosebumps. Like, I don't know... Again, I don't dislike Goosebumps. I like Goosebumps. I'm nostalgic for Goosebumps. But I don't even know... What do you mean? Like, how do you want them to reboot this in a way that isn't something you dislike?
To be this lame? Does it have to be this paint by the numbers? Do you have to go to...
This guy's a friend of Tim Pool. That makes sense.
Nostalgia so
same level of media literacy
quickly. I mean, you could tell different stories with different people, give us a proper anthology, actually elevate the material of Goosebumps rather than this
elevate the material of Goosebumps
overall connected narrative where
I don't understand why you think that can't work. Like, I get it, it's not the thing I would make if I was in charge of it. I prefer anthology series, but it feels like they're doing a fusion. I think episodes are gonna have like, oh, this episode's Say Cheese and Die, this episode is Night of the Living Dummy. It's just the same cast of characters dealing with these things instead of in an anthology format. I'm interested. It's an interesting way to take it as an adaptation, but... Unstable Deadbeat says, I believe he's a real chud. Making the comment questioning it is more a way to point out just how bad his take is. It's hard to believe that it's real. Yeah.
Where this camera is popping up all the time. Also, you're gonna notice that the dummy is in there somewhere because...
The dummy! Like he doesn't have a fucking name. Slappy. Also, this version of Slappy, ideal. This is the best version of Slappy I've seen. It is the perfect combination of the 1990s TV show Slappy and the Slappy that's on the book covers, because they look quite different. In the TV show, Slappy was a redhead and was a little stockier, whereas in the books, Slappy is a more generic dummy, let's say. And here they kind of split the difference. H-Beard says, as of 2021, only 45% of public school students are white, so doing a show set now with an all-white cast would be forced diversity. Oh my god, I want to tell him that so bad.
You have to go with the dummy, because what's more iconic in terms of Goosebumps than the dummy, and...
God, I wish I knew the thing off the top of my head. They read Latin. Like, it's like Evil Dead. You gotta read the Latin words in order to summon Slappy back to life. It's like, something Molyneux Carano.
Yeah, that's just where they're going with this. So even though I will definitely be watching absolutely every single episode of this, in fact, I'm done with politics, I'm only going to review Goosebumps from October 13th on, I still think that maybe you could do a little bit better. Maybe you could put it in some better hands. Maybe you don't need a pop culture song when you have the dog barking the theme song. Let's play that clip again.
We need to talk. Why does James smell like watermelon Jolly Ranchers? I was just gonna say.
And honestly, that right there signs, seals, and delivers this series for me.
That joke made me laugh.
Perfectly, because they just did a
Yeah, I don't get hate watching. I don't understand that.
Marvel-esque comedy joke.
Like, if I don't like a show, I'll give it a little bit. I'll be like, I'll give it some, because sometimes shows need a little bit, you know, to get their footing, right? But I don't hate watch.
At the end of it, they're like, oh, why does he smell like watermelon Jolly Ranchers? Shut up, shut your mouth, shut your face.
It's okay that you didn't find it funny. Getting mad about it's weird.
I'll tell you why, because you have hack writers that won't take this Goosebumps material as seriously as it needs.
As we all know, Goosebumps are bereft of humor, by the way. They're very serious books
to be
that aren't humor/horror books for children.
Not everything needs Marvel-esque jokes and quips and all of that.
I would agree that humor has entirely been crowded out in a lot of media by Marvel-esque quip humor, but that's popular now still. We're probably on the tail end, but it still is, so it makes sense that Netflix would do that. You don't have to like it. You don't. I don't even know if I'll like the show. I'm gonna give it a chance. Could be fun. Maybe it won't be. It's not made for me. I'm an adult.
It worked for a little while in the MCU. You had Joss Whedon writing it. He kind of set the tone for that universe. But the idea that Star Wars needs Marvel-esque quips, that DC needs Marvel-esque quips, and now Goosebumps, the most serious of all of our literature, the most serious of all of our...
How far do I have to get in one of these Goosebumps books next to me to get to a joke? And I know he's being facetious, but I still want to point out that he's just being an ass. Let's pick a random Goosebumps book and find the first, like, joke. It's not a parody. He's being facetious, but he really is doing this, guys. This is his fucking job. Why do you not believe me? As if I'm not a fucking expert at knowing these people. God damn. I know he's being... I said he's being facetious. Jesus Christ. He still does actually think it's woke, though. That's the fucking point. He's being facetious as to lampshade the fact that he is actually mad about Goosebumps, which is fucking pathetic. God damn, I complain about right-wingers not having media literacy, and then half the time you people will argue with me about whether someone really believes a certain thing or not. Some of you don't have the best literacy in terms of people's meanings either sometimes. Just saying. Anyway, here's one. Beast from the East. Let's find a joke. When I was a really little girl, my mom would tuck me into bed at night. She would whisper, "Good night, Ginger, good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite." I didn't know what bed bugs were. I pictured fat red bugs with big eyes and spidery legs crawling under the sheet. Just thinking about them made me itchy all over. After Mom kissed me on the forehead and left, Dad would step into my room and sing to me very softly, the same song every night, The Teddy Bear's Picnic. I don't know why he thought that song made a good lullaby. It was about going into the woods and finding hundreds and hundreds of bears. The song gave me shivers. What were the bears eating at their picnic? Children? Like, these are jokes. Like, these are jokes. Does he know that? Does he know that they're jokes? Oh, God.
Our anthology series also needs jokes about Jolly Rancher. He smells like a Jolly Rancher.
No Goosebumps book made jokes about candy. Children famously don't ever talk about candy.
Isn't that funny? No, shut up. It's not funny. I'm against it.
You're an adult.
Is a crime against humanity, and anybody who signs up for this, except for me, who's going to be watching every single episode, you're dead to me. That's just how I feel. Honestly, I'm going to send the haunted dummy after you. If you're into this, then I'm not...
The living dummy. It's the haunted mask. It's the living dummy. You don't even know. You don't even know the names.
into you. We're not friends anymore. We're not speaking anymore. I'm gonna come to your house and tell you in person, one-on-one, that we're not cool. So do me a favor, type your address in the comments of this video. I will start booking my flights. I will start planning my GPS route, because I'm gonna tell all of you what you need to know about this Goosebumps series. It's lame. I hate it. I'm gonna watch every single episode of it. If there's season 2, I'm gonna watch every single episode of season 2. This is what my whole life is all about, and I'm gonna do it on the hope, on the promise, on the feeling that maybe at some point in some time we're gonna get a story about this haunted Goosebumps dog from the original series. Maybe we'll get a Goosebumps multiverse of madness kind of thing, where they end up fusing Goosebumps this series with Goosebumps the original series, and also fuse it with that Goosebumps movie that I think had Jack Black in it. But I'm not expecting it. I'm not happy for it. You might as well call this Spooksville, just like my childhood friend whose family in the 6th grade could not afford to get him a real Goosebumps book. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry to out you like this, but you're disgraceful, you're disgusting, and this whole series is disgusting. Goosebumps is iconic. It's amazing. It is the greatest series marked by child acting being horrible ever of all time. It's a part of my childhood. It's a part of your childhood. It's a part of everybody's childhood, and they took it away. Disney have gone too far. Disney done robbed us of our childhood, and yes, this is definitely the most serious video I ever made. Yes, I just spent 10 minutes on it, and yes, I will be reviewing everything related to this. So yeah.
Jesus Christ. Andy Pretzel says, okay, but if you hate it so much, why are you going to watch it? For clicks. He wants to be Jeremy. That's why he cited him. Yeah, the anti-SJW types are very strange. Alright, let's see who we're gonna raid. I am done for the day. Streamed a little early. Got done a little early. Not bad overall. Oh, Shark's covering the Steven Crowder faking views thing. Beautiful. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow for another stream. Hope to see you then. Have a wonderful evening. And, adios. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Whenever it lets me, at least.